Somewhere in the oldest corners of the Pokemon world, legendary creatures wait in places most trainers never reach. Hidden behind waterfalls, sealed in ancient temples, sleeping beneath the oceans that stretch beyond the map's edge. These beings exist outside the normal rules, neither common nor catchable through ordinary means. Their presence shapes regions, their power defines generations, and their stories unfold across mythology and memory in equal measure. Before we drift off, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an upload, and let me know where you're watching from. And the best place to start is with the three birds that introduced the entire concept, where a frozen creature first appeared in mountain peaks, wrapped in eternal winter. Articuno carries wings made entirely of ice, crystalline feathers that cool the air around them. Every gentle movement. The temperature drops when this creature approaches, moisture in the atmosphere freezing into snow that drifts down in curtains of white. Blizzards form in its wake, not through any conscious effort, but simply as a consequence of existing in spaces where warmth cannot survive. The bird's body generates cold in ways that defy simple explanation, ice spreading from its wingtips like frost across glass. Doomed hikers lost on mountain slopes sometimes report seeing Articuno in their final moments, a blue silhouette against white sky. Whether the creature appears as mercy or simple coincidence remains unclear, but the pattern repeats across recorded encounters. The sight offers something beautiful before the end arrives, wings catching light through falling snow. These appearances happen only in the most remote locations, peaks where rescue cannot reach. The wings themselves function as both appendage and element, ice that moves like feather and flesh combined into something new. Scientists studying Articuno from a distance have theorized the wings generate their own cold, rather than simply conducting it. The distinction matters, suggesting the bird creates winter rather than merely surviving it. This ability explains how blizzards appear even in seasons when snow should not fall. Each feather contains microscopic ice crystals arranged in patterns that defy natural formation, structures too perfect to emerge through freezing alone. The arrangement suggests intentional design, though whether Articuno consciously shapes its plumage remains unknown. These crystalline structures refract light in ways that create the aurora effect sometimes visible when Articuno flies through moonlight, blues and whites shifting into pale rainbow. The legendary bird's relationship with ice extends beyond simple elemental affinity into something more fundamental. Articuno does not merely manipulate existing cold, but generates it from internal processes that operate below absolute zero temperatures. Physics should prevent such temperatures from existing, yet Articuno's body maintains them without consequence. This impossibility marks the creature as truly legendary, being that exists outside normal thermodynamic rules. Mountains where Articuno nests develop permanent ice caps regardless of elevation or latitude, cold spreading outward from the creature's presence. These unnatural glaciers resist melting even during summer months, temperatures held artificially low through proximity to the legendary bird. Local ecosystems adapt or die, only cold-resistant species surviving in regions claimed by Articuno. The permanent climate change demonstrates how single legendary Pokémon can reshape entire environments through passive existence. Migration patterns suggest Articuno follows winter around the planet, moving between hemispheres to remain in coldest available regions. This behavior implies preference rather than requirement, creature choosing cold environments despite ability to survive anywhere. The seasonal movement creates reliable sighting windows, experienced trainers knowing when and where to search. These patterns have been documented for centuries. Ancient texts describing the bluebird that heralds deepest winter. Before you drift off, maybe tap subscribe for more gentle videos and let me know where you're listening from tonight. Articuno's appearance changed when discovered in the Galar region, a variant form that traded ice typing for psychic abilities. This version keeps itself aloft through mental power alone, defying gravity without effort or explanation. The wings still spread wide, but their function shifted from physical flight to something less tangible. Psychic energy emanates from the creature in waves that can freeze opponents through a move called Freezing Glare. The Galarian form retains its connection to cold despite the typing change, still capable of turning the air frigid. Its appearance suggests a different evolutionary path, same species adapting to different environmental pressures over countless generations. The purple and lavender coloring distinguishes it immediately from its icy blue counterpart, yet both share the same elegant silhouette. Both versions represent winter in different forms, one through temperature and one through stillness. Zapdos lives inside thunderclouds, where electricity gathers in concentrations dense enough to split the sky. The bird appears most often when storm systems collide, visible for brief moments as lightning illuminates its form. Its body generates and controls electricity with precision that exceeds natural phenomena, turning clouds into weapons or shields. The crackling energy that surrounds Zapdos never stops, constant discharge creating the sound of static in the air. The electrical field extends several meters beyond Zapdos's physical body, sphere of ionized air that makes approach incredibly dangerous. Metal objects within this field become conductors, drawing strikes that would otherwise miss their target. This defensive corona protects Zapdos without conscious effort, automatic response to any potential threat. Trainers who successfully befriend Zapdos must learn to operate within this electrical environment, carefully timing their proximity to avoid accidental electrocution. Thunderstorm intensity correlates directly with Zapdos's emotional state, calm producing gentle rainfall, while agitation generates violent tempests. This connection suggests some form of atmospheric empathy, whether responding to the legendary bird's moods. Meteorologists in regions where Zapdos dwells have learned to predict the creature's disposition through storm analysis, reading emotional states in cloud formations and lightning frequency. This weather-based language creates communication channel between legendary and observer. The relationship between Zapdos and electrical infrastructure remains poorly understood, power grids sometimes experiencing surges or failures when the legendary bird passes nearby. These fluctuations cause blackouts in urban areas, temporary darkness spreading across cities as Zapdos drains or overloads systems never designed to handle its output. Energy companies in affected regions have developed protocols for Zapdos encounters, shutting down sensitive equipment when the bird approaches to prevent permanent damage. Ancient cultures worshipped Zapdos as storm god, temples built on mountain peaks where sightings were most common. These structures served dual purpose, places of reverence and primitive lightning rods that channeled electrical discharge safely into the ground. Archaeological evidence suggests priests deliberately attracted Zapdos through metal constructions, seeking the legendary bird's blessing or power. Modern understanding suggests these practices were incredibly dangerous, though apparently successful, given the structure's continued existence. The creature draws inspiration from Thunderbird mythology, ancient stories of enormous birds whose wing beats summoned storms. Some Pokédex entries suggest Zapdos creates thunderstorms by flapping its wings, while others claim it simply inhabits them. The distinction matters less than the observable truth that where Zapdos appears, lightning follows. The bird seems drawn to electrical discharge, feeding on or perhaps generating the power that flows through summer storms. Sightings of Zapdos happen during the moments when thunderclouds split apart, revealing clear sky or revealing the creature perched within. The pattern suggests the bird tears through storm systems deliberately, either hunting or simply traveling. Its yellow plumage glows with internal energy, static electricity causing feathers to stand perpetually on end. This constant charge makes Zapdos dangerous to approach, even for those who might befriend other legendary creatures. The Galarian variant of Zapdos abandoned electricity entirely, becoming a fighting and flying type with legs powerful enough to destroy industrial vehicles. This version runs rather than flies, muscular limbs carrying it across terrain at speeds that blur the creature into streaks of orange. The Roadrunner served as inspiration here, a bird known for ground speed rather than aerial prowess. Galarian Zapdos kicks with force that exceeds its size, compact frame hiding incredible strength. The contrast between forms demonstrates how dramatically legendary Pokémon can adapt to regional conditions. Cantonian Zapdos represents summer thunderstorms, the electrical fury of warm season weather. Galarian Zapdos represents something more terrestrial, power expressed through physical force rather than elemental control. Both versions fill the same ecological role in different ways, apex predators operating at the top of their respective food chains. Moltres carries flames that never extinguish, fire burning across its body without consuming feather or flesh. The Phoenix served as obvious inspiration, mythological bird that dies and resurrects through flame. This connection to fire and rebirth appears throughout Moltres' Pokédex entries, though the creature gets overshadowed by Ho-Oh in representing that particular concept. The flames intensify when Moltres feels threatened, temperature rising until the air shimmers with heat. The fire-coating Moltres' body maintains temperatures exceeding 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, heat sufficient to melt most metals instantly. Yet the creature's underlying flesh remains unharmed, protected through supernatural means from its own flames. This protection extends to anything Moltres chooses to spare, selective immunity that allows the bird to carry objects or perch on structures without igniting them. The conscious control required for such precise heat management suggests intelligence far beyond simple animal cunning. Volcanic regions serve as Moltres' preferred habitat, creature drawn to places where Earth's internal heat reaches the surface. Active calderas provide both warmth and isolation. Few trainers willing to venture into active eruption zones. These volcanic nests become permanent over time, Moltres returning to same locations across years or decades. Geological surveys have identified several volcanoes whose activity patterns correlate with Moltres sightings, suggesting the legendary bird's presence affects magma flow. The connection between Moltres and spring renewal operates through fire's agricultural role, controlled burns clearing dead vegetation to enable new growth. Ancient farming communities deliberately summoned Moltres to their fields, requesting the legendary bird's flames to prepare soil for planting. These rituals involved offering rare berries and performing ceremonial dances, traditions preserved in rural areas, despite modern agricultural methods, making them unnecessary. The persistence of these customs demonstrates Moltres' cultural significance beyond simple power. Ash left behind after Moltres passes through an area possesses unusual properties, soil enriched beyond what normal combustion would produce. Plants grown in Moltres ash mature faster and yield more abundantly, supernatural fertility granted through the legendary bird's flames. Farmers prize this ash highly, collecting it from known flight paths and hoarding it for important crops. The material's value has created black markets in some regions, illegal ash trading prosecuted as environmental crime. Early Pokédex entries describe Moltres bathing in lava to heal injuries, molten rock serving as a restorative medicine. The image emphasizes the molten aspect of its name, Firebird, comfortable in environments that would incinerate most living things. Later entries shifted focus toward Moltres' connection to spring, positioning it as herald of seasonal change. The three legendary birds each represent a season, Zapdos claiming summer with its storms and Articuno owning winter through ice. Spring belongs to Moltres through the warmth it brings, fire melting, snow, and allowing growth to return. This seasonal assignment feels appropriate given fire's role in renewal, old vegetation burning away to make space for new. The connection to rebirth appears again here, Phoenix mythology blending with seasonal cycles. Autumn remains notably absent from the trio's seasonal representation, creating a gap that makes Ho-Oh's autumn connections all the more interesting. Galarian Moltres trades fire for dark typing, flames turning sinister purple rather than warm orange. This version burns differently, draining energy from those it attacks rather than simply causing physical damage. The flames create burned-out shadows of victims, draining vitality and leaving hollow shells behind. This darker interpretation transforms Moltres from herald of spring into something more malevolent, fire that destroys rather than renews. The names of all three legendary birds contain Spanish numbers hidden in their construction. Articuno holds uno for 1, Zapdos contains dos for 2, Moltres conceals trees for 3. This naming convention established a pattern that would repeat across future legendary trios, subtle connections that reward careful observation. The detail adds a layer of intentionality to designs that already carried significant mythological weight. Mewtwo exists because humans pushed genetic engineering past ethical boundaries, creating the strongest Pokémon possible through artificial means. Scientists extracted DNA from Mew and rearranged it, attempting to enhance power while removing perceived weaknesses. The experiments succeeded in creating something incredibly strong, but the process stripped away empathy and gentleness. Mewtwo focuses solely on battle, combat prowess elevated above all other considerations. The laboratory journals detail hundreds of failed attempts before successful creation, embryos that developed incorrectly or died within hours of gestation. Each failure brought researchers closer to understanding Mew's genetic structure, though the cost and destroyed potential life raises ethical questions that remain unanswered. The successful specimen emerged after 3 years of continuous experimentation, timing suggesting the project consumed significant resources and dedication. The financial backing required for such extended research implies wealthy patrons whose identities were never recorded. Mewtwo's psychological development occurred in isolation, creature raised without companions or social interaction. The researchers treated it as experiment rather than being, measurements and tests replacing normal childhood experiences. This emotional deprivation shaped Mewtwo's worldview, teaching it that existence means only strength and survival. The loneliness created during these formative years cannot be undone, damage permanent despite any subsequent kindness. The escape from Cinnabar Island involved catastrophic destruction. The laboratory demolished so thoroughly that reconstruction proved impossible. Survivor accounts describe Mewtwo tearing through reinforced walls as though they were paper, psychic power reducing concrete and steel to rubble. The facility's destruction served dual purpose, escape route and permanent erasure of the research that created such suffering. No backup data survived, all records of the genetic engineering process lost in the conflagration. Cerulean Cave's selection as refuge seems deliberate rather than random, deepest and most isolated location available in Kanto region. The cave system extends far below ground level, passages leading to chambers where sunlight never reaches. This profound isolation suits Mewtwo's desire for solitude, environment where unwanted visitors rarely venture. The few trainers who penetrate these depths find themselves facing the strongest Pokémon in existence, creature with nothing left to lose. The creature's creation took place on Cinnabar Island, in a laboratory where researchers operated without oversight or restraint. Mr. Fuji and Blaine likely led the project, their names appearing in fragmented journal entries found in the abandoned mansion. The journals chronicle Mewtwo's development, documenting how increased strength correlated with decreased emotional capacity. The scientists celebrated each milestone without considering what they were creating. Eventually, Mewtwo escaped, breaking free from the facility and fleeing to Cerulean Cave, where it remains in isolation. The cave provides shelter from a world the creature never asked to enter, a place where it can exist without an interference. Whether only one Mewtwo was created remains unclear, game lore suggesting a single creature, while anime and manga imply multiple versions. Regardless of the exact count, Mewtwo stands as warning about unchecked scientific ambition. The first Pokémon movie cemented Mewtwo's popularity, giving the creature depth and motivation beyond simple power. The film explored questions of identity and purpose, asking what it means to be created rather than born. These philosophical questions resonated with audiences, transforming Mewtwo from generic legendary into one of the franchise's most beloved characters. The movie's influence cannot be overstated, shaping how entire generations view this particular Pokémon. Mewtwo received two Mega Evolution forms, one emphasizing physical power and another focusing on special attacks. These transformations push the creature's already incredible strength even further, though at unclear cost. The Mega forms represent Mewtwo at full power, restraints removed and abilities maximized. Both forms maintain the creature's psychic typing enhancement rather than fundamental change. Mew contains the genetic information of every Pokémon species, DNA flexible enough to become anything. This legendary creature can transform at will, learning any move and adapting to any situation. The Pokédex classifies Mew as ancestor to all Pokémon, the single point from which all others diverged over millions of years. This ancestry explains Mew's genetic versatility, original template still containing all possible variations. The creature's playful nature contrasts sharply with the power it possesses, childlike curiosity driving behavior more than any aggressive instinct. Mew floats through environments rather than walking, movement appearing effortless and joyful. Its small size and pink coloring make it seem non-threatening, appearance concealing incredible strength. This contrast between appearance and capability became a recurring theme in legendary design. Mew appears exclusively through special events, never available through normal gameplay in most generations. This exclusivity transformed the creature into a legend within the games themselves, something discussed but rarely seen. Rumors about Mew's location circulated on playgrounds and early internet forums, players sharing false information mixed with genuine secrets. The truck near the SS Anne became infamous as a supposed Mew hiding spot, a myth that persisted for years despite being completely false. The Mew glitch, discovered long after the game's release, allowed players to encounter the creature through careful manipulation of game mechanics. This exploit involved specific trainers and the fly move, creating a sequence that spawned Mew. The glitch's discovery reignited interest in the original games and demonstrated how much players cared about obtaining this particular Pokémon. The method spread through online communities, turning an impossible catch into an achievable goal. Mew's connection to Mewtwo creates a dark reflection, natural purity versus artificial enhancement. Where Mew embodies joy and curiosity, Mewtwo represents power and isolation. The two creatures share genetic material, but diverge completely in personality and purpose. This relationship defines both Pokémon, each one's meaning dependent on the other's existence. If you're still awake, halfway through, maybe subscribe before you drift off, and tell me what time it is where you're watching from. Ho-Oh carries feathers that shimmer with rainbow coloring, each one reflecting light in ways that defy normal optics. The creature's appearance inspired reverence across Johto, temples built to honor the guardian who brings good fortune. Those who see Ho-Oh receive happiness, a blessing that transcends simple luck. The sacred ash that falls from Ho-Oh's wings possesses restorative properties powerful enough to revive fainted Pokémon, life-giving dust that reverses death itself. The rainbow effect emerges from feather microstructure, layers of keratin arranged at precise intervals to split light into component wavelengths. This natural diffraction creates colors that shift depending on viewing angle, appearance never quite the same twice. Scientists attempting to replicate this structure artificially have failed, suggesting the pattern requires living tissue to maintain proper alignment. The feathers retain their iridescence even after molting, shed plumage remaining beautiful indefinitely. Temples dedicated to Ho-Oh follow specific architectural principles, structures designed to channel sunlight in ways that create rainbow patterns at certain times. These sacred buildings serve as beacons, landmarks visible for miles that signal devotion and welcome. Pilgrims travel vast distances to witness the light displays, believing exposure to rainbow illumination grants Ho-Oh's blessing even without seeing the legendary bird itself. The temple's priests maintain these structures across generations, sacred duty passed from parent to child. The resurrection of 3 Pokémon from Brass Tower's ashes represents Ho-Oh's most significant act, divine intervention that changed the course of Johto's history. The burned tower contained dozens of Pokémon when flames consumed it, only 3 receiving the gift of rebirth. The selection criteria remain unknown, though legends suggest Ho-Oh chose beings whose suffering resonated with something in the legendary bird's nature. This arbitrary mercy raises theological questions among those who study Ho-Oh's mythology. Sacred ash production appears linked to Ho-Oh's emotional state, greater quantities falling during periods of contentment or joy. This connection suggests the ash represents tangible form of Ho-Oh's happiness, positive emotions crystallizing into healing dust. Collectors prize sacred ash for its ability to restore entire teams simultaneously, power unmatched by any manufactured medicine. The ash's scarcity makes it incredibly valuable, ounces trading for prices that would purchase houses in some regions. The Phoenix inspiration appears more strongly in Ho-Oh than in Moltres, resurrection mythology taking center stage. Legends speak of Ho-Oh resurrecting 3 Pokémon that perished in a burning tower, granting them new forms as the legendary beasts. This act of creation through resurrection defines Ho-Oh's role in Johto mythology, death transforming into rebirth through divine intervention. The rainbow coloring symbolizes hope after darkness, promise that destruction need not be permanent. Ho-Oh's connection to autumn appears through subtle details rather than explicit statements. The creature represents harvest and culmination, the final season before winter's rest. This seasonal assignment completes the cycle begun by the legendary birds, 4 seasons covered by 4 distinct legendary creatures. The intentionality behind this design demonstrates how carefully the developers planned these connections. Lugia dwells beneath the ocean surface, a massive creature capable of creating 40-day storms with casual wing beats. The anime movie established Lugia as master of the legendary birds, though this connection exists nowhere in game lore. The film's influence was so strong that many players assume the relationship is canon, when in reality, Lugia has no particular authority over Articuno, Zapdos, or Moltres. This disconnect between movie and game lore creates confusion that persists decades later. The ocean trench where Lugia resides reaches depths that challenge submarine exploration, pressure at such levels sufficient to crush steel hulls. The legendary bird somehow survives these conditions without specialized adaptations visible in its physiology, suggesting supernatural durability rather than biological pressure resistance. The trench's remoteness provides privacy that Lugia apparently craves, isolation chosen rather than imposed. The few documented sightings occur when the creature rises to shallower waters, brief surface visits before returning to abyssal darkness. Lugia's psychic abilities extend to communication with marine life, telepathic connection, allowing coordination with ocean Pokémon. This mental network creates early warning system, sea creatures alerting Lugia to surface world events that might require intervention. The communication operates continuously at low levels, background awareness of oceanic conditions that requires no conscious effort. This passive monitoring allows Lugia to detect threats or disturbances across vast distances. The 40-day storm potential represents a catastrophic threat, weather system powerful enough to reshape coastlines through erosion and flooding. Historical records describe several such storms, events attributed to Lugia's rage or distress. These ancient tempests altered regional geography, islands submerged, and new land masses created through sediment displacement. Modern meteorological technology would classify such storms as beyond the theoretical maximum intensity, impossibilities made real through legendary power. Underwater acoustics research has detected what might be Lugia's vocalizations, low-frequency sounds that travel thousands of miles through ocean. These calls occur irregularly, purpose unknown, though speculation ranges from territory marking to emotional expression. The haunting quality of the sounds has inspired numerous musical compositions, human attempts to capture the melancholy inherent in Lugia's isolation. Recording equipment occasionally captures these calls accidentally, submarines or research vessels documenting sounds whose source they cannot identify. The creature's design draws from multiple sources, including dragons and deep-sea creatures. Lugia's aquatic nature seems almost accidental, the Pokémon receiving flying and psychic typing despite living underwater. This typing choice reflects the creature's original conception, design finalized before its oceanic role was decided. The discrepancy bothers some fans, who feel Lugia should be water type, though the existing types have become too iconic to change. Lugia lives in isolation, choosing to remain beneath the waves because its power threatens anything nearby. The storms it creates are unintentional, a consequence of movement rather than deliberate action. This self-imposed exile demonstrates awareness of the danger it poses, choosing loneliness over potential destruction. The decision speaks to wisdom and restraint, qualities not typically associated with legendary Pokémon. The three legendary beasts originated as ordinary Pokémon who died when Brass Tower burned to the ground. Ho-Oh resurrected them, transforming their bodies and granting new forms suited to the manner of their deaths. Raikou emerged from the creature struck by lightning, electricity becoming part of its essence. Entei rose from flames, fire absorbed into resurrected flesh. Suicune came from the Pokémon, drowned by falling water, purification through drowning, creating a being that cleanses. The original species of these three Pokemon remains subject to debate, no consensus emerging despite extensive research into historical records. Some scholars suggest they were Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, evolution stones, explaining their elemental affinities. Others propose they were entirely different species, identities lost to time and transformation. The question matters for understanding what resurrection through Ho-Oh actually means, whether it preserves original nature or completely overwrites it with new form. Each beast's post-resurrection behavior suggests trauma from their deaths, wandering patterns reflecting inability to settle or find peace. They roam constantly, never remaining in one location longer than necessary. This restless movement appears compulsive rather than purposeful, endless journey without clear destination. Psychologists studying legendary Pokemon behavior interpret this wandering as coping mechanism, motion preventing the beasts from confronting their unnatural resurrection. Raiku's lightning strikes leave scorch marks in distinct patterns, electrical discharge burning shapes into ground that remain visible for years. These marks serve as territorial markers or possibly communication attempts, messages left for beings capable of reading them. The pattern's complexity suggests deliberate design, lightning controlled with surgical precision rather than allowed to discharge randomly. Linguists have attempted to decode these burn patterns, searching for language in the shapes, though no consensus interpretation has emerged. The thunder accompanying Raiku's roar operates at frequencies below human hearing range, infrasound that creates visceral unease in those nearby. This acoustic weapon disorients prey or threats, physical discomfort, preventing effective opposition. The evolutionary advantage of such capability seems clear, though its emergence in resurrected form raises questions about whether Ho-Oh consciously granted this ability or whether it emerged naturally from Raiku's electrical nature. Raikou embodies thunderstorms in mobile form, speed and electricity combined into a single entity. The creature races across landscapes, leaving electrical discharge in its wake, never staying long enough for detailed observation. Its roar sounds like distant thunder, appropriate for a being born from lightning strike. The tiger inspiration appears in Raiku's striped design, powerful predator reimagined as elemental force. Entei represents volcanic eruptions and uncontrolled fire, magma made manifest in living form. Each bark from Entei causes a volcano somewhere in the world to erupt, power spread across the globe through sound alone. The creature wanders constantly, never settling in one location long enough to call it home. This restless movement mirrors fire's nature, element that consumes and moves on. Suicune purifies polluted water simply by being near it, contamination clearing as though it never existed. The creature runs across water surfaces without breaking through, weight distributed in ways that physics cannot explain. Grace defines Suicune's movement, elegant stride that makes running look like dancing. The North Wind serves as this Pokemon's title, cold purity sweeping away imperfection. Celebi travels through time as easily as ordinary Pokemon walk between locations, past and future equally accessible. The creature appears only in times of peace, refusing to manifest when conflict threatens the timeline. Forests serve as Celebi's domain, nature preservation becoming its primary concern. The Onion Fairy design gives Celebi a whimsical appearance that contrasts with its temporal powers. Time travel mechanics employed by Celebi operate outside normal understanding of causality, paradoxes either prevented or simply ignored through supernatural means. The creature can change past events without creating timeline branches, alterations integrated seamlessly into single continuous history. This reality editing capability should be impossible according to temporal physics, yet Celebi performs it routinely without apparent effort or concern for consequences. The ease with which Celebi manipulates time suggests either profound understanding of temporal mechanics or complete immunity to their restrictions. Forests visited by Celebi develop unusual characteristics, trees growing faster and producing fruit year-round regardless of season. This temporal manipulation extends to the environment itself, small pockets of accelerated or decelerated time, creating microclimates where normal rules don't apply. Botanists studying these locations report species that shouldn't coexist growing side by side, temporal displacement, bringing together plants from different eras. These chronologically confused ecosystems provide unique research opportunities, though maintaining consistent observations proves difficult when time flows unpredictably. The seeds Celebi carries originate from extinct species, plants that disappeared millions of years before human existence. These botanical time capsules allow modern study of prehistoric flora, specimens preserved perfectly through temporal stasis rather than fossilization. The scientific value cannot be overstated. Direct observation of living plants previously known only through pollen records and petrified remains. However, introducing these ancient species into modern ecosystems creates risks. Prehistoric plants potentially outcompeting contemporary vegetation. Celebi's refusal to appear during conflict operates as absolute restriction, creature physically unable to manifest in war zones or violent areas. This limitation suggests deep connection between temporal power and peace, time travel requiring calm environment to function properly. The mechanism behind this restriction remains mysterious, though theories suggest violent emotions disrupt temporal stability in ways that prevent Celebi's arrival. This creates paradox where Celebi cannot help those who most need its time manipulation abilities. Guardian of Ilex Forest, Celebi ensures that plants grow and ecosystems remain balanced. The creature brings vegetation with it through time, seeds from extinct species arriving in modern day through temporal displacement. This ability makes Celebi a living archive of botanical history, carrying samples of every plant that ever existed. The responsibility of protecting nature across all time periods weighs heavily on something so small. Celebi's role in the fourth movie expanded its mythology significantly, showing how the creature uses time travel to prevent ecological disasters. The film portrayed Celebi as vulnerable despite its power, temporal abilities failing to protect against capture and exploitation. This vulnerability made the character more relatable, legendary status not preventing harm. Regi rock consists of rocks and boulders compressed together through unknown means, no organic components visible anywhere. The creature repairs damage by incorporating new stones, body composition constantly shifting as old rocks fall away and new ones get added. Orange patterns mark Regi rock's face, dots arranged to suggest eyes and mouth. The patterns serve no apparent function, their presence raising questions about whether they indicate actual sensory organs. Regigigas created the three Regis according to legend, shaping Regirock from clay during continental formation. This origin story ties the Regi trio to the planet's geological history, beings formed during Earth's infancy. Regirock's composition reflects this ancient origin, stones weathered by time, yet maintaining their form through supernatural cohesion. The creature's movements sound hollow, stones scraping together without flesh to muffle the noise. This unsettling quality makes Regirock seem less like a living being and more like animated geology. The line between Pokémon and natural phenomenon blurs with the Regi trio, raising questions about what qualifies as alive. Regi forms from ice compressed for thousands of years, frozen solid in ways that defy melting. Antarctic ice serves as this creature's body, temperatures so low that approaching Regi causes instant frostbite. The blue crystalline structure remains transparent enough to see through, internal organs either absent or invisible. 7 yellow dots mark Regi's face in a pattern similar to Regirock's orange markings. The ice never melts regardless of external temperature, molecular bonds strengthened beyond normal hydrogen connections. This supernatural durability allows Regi to exist in warm climates without slowly dissolving, ancient ice maintaining its structure through means science cannot explain. The creature moves despite having no visible joints, frozen body flowing like liquid when needed. Regi's breath drops temperatures to -300 degrees Fahrenheit, cold and tense enough to freeze air itself into solid crystals. This ability makes the Pokémon incredibly dangerous, even brief exposure causing permanent damage. The creature seems unaware of this danger, moving through environments without consideration for what its presence destroys. Registeel's body consists of metal harder than any substance found naturally, material analysis revealing no matches to known elements. The metal resists scratching and corrosion despite being incredibly ancient, surface maintaining pristine condition across millennia. 7 dots arranged in a hexagonal pattern mark Registeel's face in silver, continuing the visual motif established by the other Regis. The creature's hollow interior contains no organs or mechanisms, empty metal shell somehow achieving movement and thought. This impossible anatomy defies understanding, raising questions about how Registeel functions at all. The metal itself may be alive, consciousness emerging from material properties rather than biological processes. Registeel spent 10,000 years sealed in an underground chamber, metal unchanging despite the immense time span. When finally released, the creature showed no signs of damage or deterioration, as though time had stopped within the seal. This durability exceeds even legendary standards, suggesting properties beyond simple toughness. The 3 Regis share several characteristics beyond their type diversity, unified design language marking them as related. The dot patterns on their faces match in structure, if not in exact arrangement, 7 points configured into geometric shapes. Their bodies lack traditional organic components, each one made from inorganic materials given life through unknown means. The inability to speak forms another commonality, the Regis communicating through mechanical sounds and cryptic patterns rather than language. Latias and Latios represent a legendary pair defined by emotional connection and psychic power. Both can refract light to become invisible, effectively disappearing from sight while remaining physically present. Their feathers feel smooth like glass, texture reflecting their dragon typing despite appearing more avian. The siblings share a deep bond, sensing each other's presence and emotional states across vast distances. Latias demonstrates high intelligence and emotional sensitivity, perceiving human feelings with clarity that exceeds human empathy. The creature uses telepathy to communicate, images and emotions transmitted directly into minds. Red and white coloring defines Latias's appearance, softer tones suggesting gentleness despite considerable power. The Pokémon often disguises itself as a human girl, maintaining the illusion through psychic manipulation. Latios shares its siblings' intelligence and psychic abilities, though personality skews more protective than empathetic. The creature guards territory fiercely, willing to sacrifice itself to protect Latias or human friends. Blue and white coloring distinguishes Latios from its red counterpart, cooler palette suggesting different temperament. Speed defines this Pokemon's movement, velocity exceeding most legendary creatures. The Soul Dew connects Latias and Latios to Alto Mare, a city where the siblings serve as protectors. This jewel contains immense psychic energy, power concentrated into a small gemstone. Legends suggest the Soul Dew forms when one of the siblings dies, their essence crystallizing into permanent form. This dark origin gives the item emotional weight beyond simple mechanical function. Kyogre expanded the oceans through power over water itself, rain falling endlessly when this creature wakes. Primal reversion transforms Kyogre into an even more powerful form, ancient strength returning after millennia of dormancy. The whale-like design emphasizes size and grace, massive body moving through water with surprising elegance. Blue coloring seems obvious for a water-type legendary, though the specific shade shifts between navy and cerulean depending on light conditions. The rain generated by Kyogre operates at intensity that exceeds natural precipitation, water falling in sheets thick enough to reduce visibility to arm's length. The supernatural downpour continues without pause, clouds reforming instantly as they empty. Normal weather patterns cannot compete with Kyogre's influence. Existing systems dissolved or absorbed into the legendary's endless storm. The volume of water produced should empty atmospheric moisture reserves within hours, yet supply never diminishes, suggesting Kyogre generates water rather than simply collecting it. Ocean depths respond to Kyogre's mood, sea level rising or falling based on the legendary's emotional state. Coastal communities in regions where Kyogre dwells build flexible infrastructure, structures designed to accommodate significant elevation changes. This adaptive architecture acknowledges that Kyogre's power extends beyond simple weather control into fundamental alteration of ocean volume. The mechanism behind these sea level changes remains unclear, water appearing or disappearing without an obvious source or destination. Primal reversion strips away evolutionary accommodations developed during dormancy, exposing original prehistoric form. The transformation reverses millions of years of adaptation, accessing power levels that modern environment cannot safely contain. Ancient Kyogre operated in a world with different atmospheric composition and solar radiation, capabilities scaled to conditions that no longer exist. Manifesting such power in current era creates dangerous mismatches, strength meant for different planet, unleashed on contemporary world. The ongoing conflict between Kyogre and Groudon shapes not just geography, but climate patterns across entire planet, opposing forces creating weather systems through their interaction. Regions equidistant from both legendaries experience the most unstable conditions, influence zones overlapping to produce unpredictable results. Meteorologists have mapped these confluence areas, identifying locations where Kyogre's rain meets Groudon's drought to create violent storms that combine both water and heat in impossible combinations. Torrential downpours follow Kyogre wherever it travels, clouds gathering and releasing rain in quantities that flood landscapes. This weather manipulation serves as both weapon and territorial marker, Kyogre announcing its presence through meteorological phenomena. The rain never stops while Kyogre remains active, precipitation continuing until the creature returns to slumber. Conflict between Kyogre and Groudon defined ancient history, ocean versus land, in a battle for planetary dominance. The struggle created regions through its violence, continents rising from ocean depths, and seas consuming dry ground in cycles of destruction. Neither creature could claim victory, balance eventually enforced by Rayquaza's intervention. This ancient war shapes the geography of the Pokémon world, modern landscapes bearing scars of prehistoric conflict. Groudon raised continents from ocean floors, expanding land masses through volcanic activity and tectonic manipulation. Primal reversion transforms this creature as well, accessing power that predates recorded history. The dinosaur inspiration appears clearly in Groudon's design, massive reptilian form suggesting prehistoric apex predator. Red and black coloring evokes volcanic rock, cooled magma covering the creature's body in armor-like plates. Drought follows Groudon, moisture evaporating from air and soil as the creature approaches. This perpetual dryness serves Groudon's purpose, expanding usable land by removing water that might support Kyogre's influence. The sun beats down with unnatural intensity wherever Groudon walks, heat distorting air into shimmering waves. Magma flows through Groudon's body instead of blood, molten rock circulating through supernatural organs. This internal fire allows the creature to raise land masses, heat from within melting rock, and forcing it upward through Earth's crust. The process creates new islands and expands existing continents, geography shaped by Groudon's mere presence. Rayquaza dwells in the ozone layer, atmospheric dragon flying at altitudes where air becomes too thin for most life. The creature descends only when Kyogre and Groudon threaten to destroy everything through their conflict, intervention necessary to preserve the planet. Green coloring helps Rayquaza blend into atmospheric conditions, camouflage serving no clear purpose given the creature's dominance. The ozone layer provides unique environment, radiation, and solar wind, creating conditions found nowhere else on planet. Rayquaza thrives in this hostile zone, body adapted to survive exposure that would kill most legendary Pokémon within minutes. The cosmic radiation actually nourishes the dragon, energy absorbed and metabolized in ways that conventional biology cannot explain. This radiation feeding makes Rayquaza independent of normal food chains. Existence sustained entirely by solar output. Meteor showers attract Rayquaza like chum draws sharks, creature emerging from ozone layers, intercept falling space debris. The dragon consumes asteroids whole, minerals and metals supplementing radiation diet with solid matter. This unusual eating habit serves dual purpose, nourishment for Rayquaza and protection for surface world from impacts. The number of potential extinction events prevented by Rayquaza's appetite cannot be calculated, though astronomical observations suggest significant reduction in meteor strikes in regions where the dragon patrols. The ancient war between Kyogre and Groudon created atmospheric conditions that threatened to strip Earth's air away entirely, competing powers generating wind speeds that exceeded escape velocity. Rayquaza's intervention prevented this catastrophe, dragon physically holding atmosphere in place through methods that defy physics. The dragon's presence in ozone layer may serve ongoing protective function, constant vigilance preventing gradual atmospheric loss. This would make Rayquaza essential for planetary habitability, creature whose death would doom all surface life. Mega evolution occurring without stone represents unprecedented achievement. Rayquaza accessing transformation through pure will rather than external catalyst. The ability suggests level of control that exceeds other legendary Pokemon's mastery over their own power. This self-directed evolution implies consciousness and understanding far beyond what most assume legendary creatures possess. Rayquaza knows what it is doing, transformation resulting from choice rather than instinct or external trigger. Delta Stream weather effect nullifies all other weather, absolute priority that overrides even Kyogre and Groudon's primal conditions. This supreme authority over atmospheric conditions establishes Rayquaza as ultimate arbiter of climate, judgment that cannot be appealed or contested. The ability to suppress primal weather demonstrates power exceeding the very legendary's Rayquaza was created to balance, suggesting intentional design, where Peacekeeper necessarily exceeds combatants. Mega Evolution transforms Rayquaza without requiring a held stone, unique among legendary Pokémon in this ability. The transformation accesses draconic power beyond even the creature's already incredible strength, Delta Stream activating to suppress other weather effects. This ability neutralizes both Kyogre's rain and Groudon's drought, forcing balance through sheer power. Meteor showers attract Rayquaza, the creature feeding on asteroids and space debris that fall through Earth's atmosphere. This diet supplements the Pokemon's energy, cosmic material, providing sustenance unavailable on the planet's surface. The strange eating habits raise questions about Rayquaza's origin, possible connection to the void beyond atmosphere. Jirachi sleeps for 990 years, awakening for only 7 days each millennium. During this brief waking period, the creature grants wishes to those pure of heart, reality bending to match spoken desires. The steel and psychic typing seems unusual for a wish granter, though the combination provides defensive benefits. Yellow and white coloring gives Jirachi an innocent appearance, childlike design emphasizing gentleness. The creature's body features an abdomen that resembles a star, 3 points extending from its torso. Ribbons stream from Jirachi's head, decorative elements that serve no apparent combat purpose. The Pokemon's eyes remain closed during most of its waking period, true awakening arriving only in the final days. Wish granting comes with risks, Jirachi's power operating on literal interpretation rather than intent. Poorly worded wishes produce results that technically fulfill requests while subverting the wisher's actual desires. This dangerous quality makes Jirachi's power something to approach carefully, legendary abilities requiring respect and precision. Deoxys originated in space, virus exposed to radiation from a laser beam during atmospheric entry. The mutation transformed the virus into a sentient being, extraterrestrial consciousness emerging from infection and energy. 4 forms allow Deoxys to adapt to different situations, body restructuring at will to emphasize speed, attack, defense, or balance. Normal form serves as the default state, capabilities distributed evenly without specialization. Attack form extends tentacles and sharpens angles, appearance becoming more aggressive as offensive power increases. Defense form becomes compact and armored, body folding into protective configuration. Speed form elongates and streamlines, aerodynamic shape, facilitating rapid movement. The crystal in Deoxys's chest serves as its core, gem containing the creature's consciousness and vital systems. Damage to this crystal causes pain far beyond physical injury, threatening the being's very existence. Protection of the core takes priority over all other considerations. Deoxys's various forms, all positioning the crystal to minimize vulnerability. Uxie embodies knowledge, consciousness itself crystallized into physical form. The creature keeps its eyes closed perpetually, opening them only in direst circumstances. Those who see Uxie's eyes lose all memory, minds wiped clean by the knowledge contained within that gaze. This terrible ability makes Uxie incredibly dangerous. Encounter with the opened-eyed legendary, resulting in permanent amnesia. The memory erasure operates absolutely, affecting not just autobiographical recollection, but also learned skills and language abilities. Victims become effectively newborn, retaining only instinctive behaviors while losing everything that made them individuals. This complete reset cannot be undone through any known means. Erased memories gone permanently rather than merely suppressed. The severity of this consequence keeps most sensible beings far from lake acuity, risk of encountering Uxie not worth any potential reward. Knowledge contained within Uxie encompasses everything ever learned by any being, collective intelligence of entire planet compressed into single consciousness. This omniscience should overwhelm any mind, infinite information, destroying cognitive function through sheer volume. Yet Uxie maintains sanity and personality despite containing literally all knowledge, suggesting either superhuman mental capacity or fundamentally different consciousness structure. The ability to retain individual identity while containing universal knowledge marks Uxie as truly transcendent being. The connection between Uxie and human consciousness operates at fundamental level, creatures' continued existence apparently necessary for sapience itself. Theories suggest Uxie doesn't merely embody knowledge, but actively generates it, creating the capacity for learning in all sentient beings. This would make Uxie's death utterly catastrophic, loss of knowledge itself, rather than simply loss of accumulated information. The implications frighten researchers who understand them, suggesting single point of failure for all intelligence on planet. Lake Acuity's depth provides protection, Uxie dwelling far below surface where casual encounters become unlikely. The legendary ventures to shallower waters rarely, brief ascents to observe surface world before returning to depths. These sighting opportunities attract researchers willing to risk amnesia for chance to study Uxie directly, though most observation attempts fail when the creature detects watchers and retreats. The few successful observations reveal being of profound stillness, movement minimal and deliberate when it occurs at all. The creature dwells at the bottom of Lake Acuity, isolation protecting the world from accidental memory erasure. Small size and pixie-like appearance make Uxie seem non-threatening, belying the catastrophic potential of its powers. Yellow coloring and two tails distinguish this member of the Lake Guardians, subtle differences marking each trio member's unique role. Knowledge extends beyond simple facts for Uxie, encompassing understanding and wisdom accumulated across ages. The creature knows everything that has ever been learned, collective intelligence of all sentient beings, accessible through its consciousness. This omniscience should drive Uxie mad, infinite information compressed into tiny form, yet the legendary maintains sanity through unknown means. Mesprit embodies emotion, feelings give an independent existence. The creature taught humans the joy and sorrow that define sapient experience, emotions spreading from Mesprit like ripples from thrown stones. Those who harm Mesprit lose the ability to feel, emotional capacity drained away as punishment for violence. This retribution protects the creature while serving as warning about emotion's value. Lake Verity serves as Mesprit's home, waters hiding the legendary from casual discovery. Pink coloring and 4 ribbons mark this Lake Guardian's appearance, design, emphasizing softness and approachability. The creature radiates warmth despite its psychic typing, presence making others feel safe and understood. Mesprit's existence proves emotion is not emergent property, but fundamental force, something that can exist independent of beings who feel it. This philosophical implication elevates emotion beyond mere neurochemistry, suggesting feelings possess their own reality. The revelation transforms how emotions should be regarded, validating their importance beyond utilitarian benefit. Azelf embodies willpower, determination made manifest. The creature ensures that humans possess the drive to pursue goals, instilling motivation that pushes beings toward achievement. Those who harm Azelf lose all volition, minds still functioning, but lacking any impetus to act. This fate may be worse than Uxie's memory loss or Mespri's emotional void, consciousness trapped in paralyzed body. Lake Valor conceals Azelf in its depths, legendary hidden, but not sealed blue coloring, and two tails distinguish this guardian from its siblings, trio completing the spectrum of mental attributes. The creature radiates intensity, presence, pushing others toward action even when rest would be wiser. The three lake guardians together created the balance of mind, knowledge, emotion, and will combining into consciousness. Their simultaneous existence maintains reality's stability, absence of even one threatening to unravel sapient thought. This terrible importance makes the Lake Guardians essential in ways most legendary Pokémon are not, their roles transcending simple power. Dialga controls time itself, temporal flow bending to this legendary's will. The creature's heartbeat creates time, each pulse advancing the universe one moment forward. Stopping Dialga's heart would freeze time permanently, catastrophe that would end existence without actually destroying anything. This power exceeds even other legendary abilities, dominion over fundamental, universal constant. Each heartbeat generates precisely 1 second, rhythm maintained with atomic clock precision across all of existence. The consistency suggests either perfect natural timing or conscious an effort to maintain regularity, though distinguishing between these possibilities proves impossible. Time's arrow flows forward only because Dialga's heart beats in that direction, reversal theoretically possible if the dragon's heart could be made to beat backward. This disturbing possibility has inspired numerous theoretical physics papers exploring temporal mechanics. Temporal distortions surrounding Dialga create zones where duration becomes variable, minutes passing as hours, or vice versa. These distorted regions prove disorienting for those caught within them, internal clocks becoming desynchronized from external reality. Travelers emerging from distortion zones often find more or less time has passed than they experienced, discrepancy ranging from minutes to years in extreme cases. The distortions appear randomly around Dialga, suggesting the dragon lacks perfect control despite creating time itself. The diamond formations on Dialga's body may serve as temporal batteries, crystals storing excess chronological energy. These structures glow with internal light, brightness correlating with nearby temporal stability. When distortions occur, the diamonds dim as stored time gets expended to compensate. This suggests Dialga actively maintains timeline integrity rather than simply allowing it to flow naturally, constant work preventing temporal collapse. Ancient texts describe Dialga's creation as occurring outside time, being brought into existence before moments themselves existed. This paradoxical origin creates logical impossibility. Something happening before happening was possible. Yet Dialga undeniably exists, presence proving that temporal paradoxes can resolve themselves somehow. The dragon's very existence demonstrates that time's laws are suggestions rather than absolutes, rules that can be bent or broken by beings powerful enough. The dragon embodies time rather than simply controlling it, being and concept merged into singular entity. Dialga's steel typing reflects hardness of temporal law, cause and effect proceeding with mechanical certainty. Blue coloring and diamond-studded body emphasize value and permanence, appearances suggesting something simultaneously ancient and eternal. Temporal distortions follow Dialga's movement, time bending in the creature's wake. These distortions can age objects instantly or reverse deterioration, hours passing in seconds or seconds stretching into hours. The instability makes approaching Dialga incredibly dangerous. Normal temporal experience becoming unreliable near the time dragon. Palkia controls space, distance, and dimension, answering to this legendary's authority. The creature can create separate realities, parallel dimensions, splitting off from Prime Timeline. Entire universes exist within Palkia's pearls, pocket dimensions compressed into gemstones. This power rivals Dialga's temporal dominion, space and time, forming complementary set. Spatial manipulation extends beyond simple teleportation into territory of reality warping, Palkia literally redesigning the shape of existence. The dragon can make two locations occupy same coordinates without conflict, impossible overlapping that creates portals between distant points. This violation of spatial exclusivity principle should be impossible, matter occupying matter generally producing catastrophic results. Yet Palkia performs this feat routinely, suggesting the dragon operates under different physics than normal reality. Distance becomes a meaningless concept in Palkia's presence, far and near losing distinction when space itself bends to Legendary's will. Travelers attempting to approach or flee Palkia find their efforts negated, movement accomplishing nothing when destination continuously relocates to maintain constant separation. This control over spatial relationships makes Palkia effectively uncatchable unless the dragon allows capture, pursuit impossible. When pursued, object controls the very concept of location. The pearls adorning Palkia's body each contain compressed dimension, entire reality reduced to marble size. These pocket universes follow their own physical laws, rules potentially completely alien to baseline reality. What exists within these pearls remains unknown, inaccessible without Palkia's cooperation. Some theorize the pearls house discarded universe drafts, realities Palkia created and then miniaturized for storage. Others suggest they're emergency shelters, bolt holes where Palkia could retreat if threatened. Water typing seems incongruous for Space Dragon, association unclear without understanding Palkia's origins. Some scholars suggest connection to primordial oceans, space emerging from chaos water in ancient cosmologies. Others point to Pearl's aquatic origins, gems formed in water informing Palkia's elemental affinity. The debate remains unresolved, though most agree the typing matters less than the dragon's spatial powers. Element provides flavor, but not definition. Palkia first and foremost, master of dimension and distance. The dragon embodies space as Dialga embodies time, physical reality inseparable from the legendary that defines it. Water typing seems unusual for a space dragon, though Pearl's aquatic associations provide thematic justification. Pink and purple coloring distinguishes Palkia from its temporal counterpart, softer palette suggesting fluidity versus time's rigidity. Spatial distortions warp distance around Palkia, locations that should be miles apart becoming adjacent, while nearby points stretch impossibly far. These distortions make navigating near the space dragon disorienting, normal sense of position breaking down. The instability mirrors time distortions around Dialga, paired legendaries creating matching hazards. Giratina was banished to the distortion world for violence too severe to tolerate. Antimatter dragon exiled to dimension where normal physics cease functioning. The creature dwells in a realm of impossible geometry, gravity operating in multiple directions simultaneously. Giratina's presence stabilizes the distortion world while simultaneously destabilizing ours, antimatter nature, threatening reality itself. The distortion world operates under rules that contradict everything known about physics, water flowing upward and flames burning downward. Solid platforms exist without visible support, floating in void that extends infinitely in all directions. These impossibilities remain consistent within their realm, alternate physics functioning reliably once baseline assumptions are abandoned. Giratina navigates this chaos effortlessly, creature perfectly adapted to environment that would drive others mad through sheer wrongness. Antimatter composition means Giratina should annihilate, upon contact with normal matter, mutual destruction releasing energy equivalent to thermonuclear detonation. Yet the dragon exists in baseline reality without incident, suggesting either exceptional control or fundamental misunderstanding of what Giratina actually is. Some theorists propose the dragon exists in superposition, simultaneously matter and antimatter until observation collapses the state. Others suggest Giratina phases constantly between states, rapid oscillation preventing destructive contact. The violence that earned Giratina's banishment remains shrouded in legend and speculation, no definitive accounts surviving. Some stories claim the dragon attempted to destroy reality itself, nihilistic rage threatening all existence. Others suggest Giratina attacked Arceus, rebellion against Creator God earning permanent exile. The truth may be simpler, violence directed at Creation Trio resulting in collateral damage too severe to ignore. Regardless of specifics, the punishment fits the crime. Isolation in dimension, antithetical to normal existence. Origin form represents Giratina's true shape, form optimized for distortion worlds, twisted physics. The transformation elongates body into serpentine configuration, legs becoming wing-like appendages. This radical restructuring suggests baseline altered form is compromise, shape allowing function in normal reality at cost of comfort and power. The willingness to maintain uncomfortable form demonstrates either dedication to purpose or inability to remain in origin form outside home dimension. The relationship between Giratina and the distortion world remains unclear, whether dragon created dimension or dimension created dragon. Some propose symbiotic development, each shaping the other over eons, until distinction between creator and created blurred beyond recognition. This co-evolution would explain perfect adaptation, dragon and dimension literally made for each other through mutual influence. The philosophical implications disturb those who contemplate them, suggesting identity might be negotiable given sufficient time and isolation. Two forms allow Giratina to adapt between worlds. Altered form optimized for standard reality, while origin form suits a distorted space. The transformation changes body structure completely, legs becoming wings, and bulk shifting into serpentine grace. This adaptation demonstrates how form follows function, even for legendary Pokémon, bodies optimizing for environmental demands. Ghost and dragon typing mark Giratina as fundamentally other, creature existing between categories. The shadowy appearance emphasizes this liminality, darkness that seems to absorb light rather than reflect it. Red accents provide visual contrast, crimson highlights making the creature's form readable against black. Cresselia brings pleasant dreams, lunar presence soothing sleepers into peaceful rest. The crescent moon inspiration appears clearly in design, wings, and body forming the iconic curved shape. Psychic typing suits a dreambringer, mental influence creating scenarios that play in sleeping minds. Pink and yellow coloring suggest gentleness and warmth, appearance matching the creature's benevolent nature. Lunar Dance sacrifices Cresselia's consciousness to heal allies completely, selfless move that represents ultimate commitment to protecting others. The move's dramatic cost emphasizes how seriously Cresselia takes its guardian role, willing to give everything for those it protects. This heroic tendency defines the lunar legendary, power used only to help. Darkrai creates nightmares, dark presence twisting dreams into terrifying scenarios. The creature does not cause nightmares deliberately. instead radiating an aura that corrupts the sleep within its vicinity. Darkrai spends most of its existence in hiding, avoiding contact with others to prevent spreading nightmare influence. This isolation stems from kindness, creature accepting loneliness rather than harming innocence. The nightmare aura operates continuously, impossible to suppress or control through conscious effort. Darkrai's very existence generates the effect, dark energy leaking constantly from body never designed to contain it. The creature's awareness of its harmful nature creates tragic situation, being who desires connection but cannot risk proximity. This enforced solitude has shaped Darkrai's psychology across centuries or millennia, isolation becoming fundamental to identity. Nightmares caused by Darkrai differ from normal bad dreams in their vividness and emotional impact, victims experiencing scenarios that feel completely real. The boundary between dream and waking life blurs during these episodes, terror persisting even after awakening. Repeated exposure causes psychological damage, chronic nightmare sufferers developing anxiety disorders and sleep avoidance. The long-term effects can be devastating, personality changes emerging as constant fear rewires neural pathways. Darkrai's relationship with Cresselia appears complex, neither pure rivalry nor simple opposition. Some accounts describe cooperation, nightmares, and pleasant dreams working together to maintain psychological balance. Others depict conflict, dark and light struggling for dominance over sleeping minds. The truth likely incorporates elements of both, relationship shifting based on circumstances and needs. Neither legendary can fully function without the other, balance between comfort and challenge essential for healthy mental development. The creature's appearance reflects its nature, black coloring and red highlights, creating obviously sinister silhouette. Yet those who overcome fear to study Darkrai describe being of profound sadness rather than malice, lonely exile who never chose its curse. This dichotomy between appearance and reality makes Darkrai's sympathetic figure, despite the harm it causes, villain by circumstance rather than choice. Few trainers who successfully befriend Darkrai report the creature's desperate gratitude, centuries of isolation temporarily broken. Locations where Darkrai dwells develop reputations as haunted or cursed, chronic nightmare reports creating dark legends. Communities near these sites often establish protocols for dealing with Darkrai's presence, rituals or offerings meant to appease the legendary. These practices range from elaborate ceremonies to simple acts of leaving food or gifts, all attempting to maintain peaceful coexistence with being too powerful to drive away. The success of these community interventions varies, Darkrai's response depending on factors only the creature understands. The rivalry between Cresselia and Darkrai appears obvious given their opposing natures, though some accounts suggest alliance rather than conflict. Both serve as guardians of sleep in different ways, pleasant dreams and nightmares both carrying value for psychological health. The balance between them maintains healthy dream cycles, neither pure comfort nor constant terror serving minds well. Dark and ghost typing would seem appropriate for a nightmare creator, though Darkrai is pure dark type. The black and red coloring emphasizes sinister appearance, wisps of darkness streaming from the creature like smoke. Piercing blue eye provides focal point, singular orb suggesting alien perspective. Heatran dwells in volcanic caverns, body adapted to survive in molten rock. The creature resembles a cross between turtle and volcano, metal carapace protecting organs from extreme heat. Fire and steel typing reflects this dual nature, flames that burn hot enough to melt most metals, yet Heatran itself remaining solid. Magma provides sustenance, Heatran feeding on molten rock and volcanic gases. This diet ties the creature to volcanic regions, dependence on magma limiting habitat range. The Pokemon tunnels through solid rock, super hot body melting barriers into passable tunnels. These passages crisscross volcanic interiors, heat-rinse movements, creating networks of cooled magma tubes. The creature's gender varies between individuals, unique among legendary Pokemon in this trait. This variation suggests Heatran may not be truly legendary in the traditional sense, population of these creatures existing rather than singular entity. The classification remains contentious among researchers, debate continuing about whether Heatran deserves legendary status. Regigigas shaped continents, towing them into position using ropes woven from unknown materials. The Titan's incredible strength exceeds all other legendary Pokemon, raw power unmatched despite modest offensive statistics. Slow start ability hampers Regigigas initially, full strength requiring several turns to access. This artificial limitation prevents the creature from overwhelming opponents immediately. Normal typing seems underwhelming for a legendary, though the designation perhaps reflects Regigigas' role as creator. The dots on its face continue the Regi pattern, 3 groups of yellow circles forming eyes and facial features. Moss grows on Regigigas' body, vegetation suggesting immense age. The creature spent millennia in hibernation, awakening only when all 3 Regis gathered in its presence. This intentional sealing suggests Regigigas chose to sleep rather than being forced into dormancy. The decision demonstrates restraint, legendary recognizing its own danger and choosing to remove itself from world affairs. Phione results from Manaphy breeding with Ditto, unusual offspring that cannot evolve into its parent's form. The creature drifts with warm ocean currents, body adapting to water temperature through unknown means. Blue coloring and antennae mark it as related to Manaphy, though Phione lacks its parent's crown. The inability to evolve into Manaphy raises questions about Phione's status, whether it counts as legendary or merely as mythical offspring. Game mechanics treat Phione as distinct species, separate Pokédex entry, suggesting it deserves recognition as unique creature. The ambiguity surrounding its classification mirrors debates about Heatran's status. Manaphy leads oceanic migrations, Pokemon following the prince across vast distances. The creature hatches from eggs found in cold seas, temperature crucial to proper development. Red gems dot Manaphy's yellow body, vibrant coloring making it stand out against ocean blue. Psychic and water typing give Manaphy versatility in both ocean and surface environments. Heart Swap allows Manaphy to exchange stat changes with opponents, unique move that reflects the creature's empathetic nature. The ability to trade positions mentally demonstrates deep connection to emotion and fairness. The move sees little competitive use, though thematic appropriateness makes it memorable regardless of practical application. Shaman exists in 2 forms. Land form, appearing as hedgehog covered in flowers, while sky form resembles a graceful deer with wings. Gracidia flower triggers transformation, exposure to specific pollen restructuring. Shaman's body into flight-capable form. The change affects typing, pure grass becoming grass and flying. Gratitude. Pokemon serves as Shaman's title, creature expressing thanks for kindness through blooming flowers. Polluted lands become fields of blossoms when Shaman passes through, cleansing effect rivaling Suicune's water purification. The flowers dissolve toxins, breaking down pollution into harmless components. Seed Flare destroys enemies through explosion of concentrated life energy, apparent contradiction of Shaman's gentle nature. The move demonstrates that growth can be violent, plants breaking through stone and choking out competition. Nature's cruelty exists alongside its beauty, Shaman embodying both aspects. Arceus created the universe according to legend, god of Pokémon responsible for everything that exists. 1,000 arms shaped reality from nothing, though which 1,000 arms remains unclear given Arceus's lack of visible limbs. The creation myth positions Arceus above all other legendary Pokémon, primacy established through literally creating existence. The 1,000 arms metaphor likely refers to dimensions or aspects rather than physical appendages, poetic language describing incomprehensible cosmic power. Arceus operates in more dimensions than baseline reality contains, extensions into higher geometries, appearing as arms to beings limited to 3 spatial dimensions. This interpretation makes the creation myth more coherent, infinite appendages unnecessary when working from higher dimensional perspective. The dragon's true form may be a projection, 3-dimensional shadow of being existing primarily in spaces humans cannot perceive. Creation from nothing violates fundamental conservation laws, energy and matter appearing without source. Yet universe demonstrably exists, suggesting either Arceus transcends thermodynamics or creation myth, simplifies more complex process. Some theologians propose Arceus didn't create from nothing, but rather organized pre-existing chaos, imposition of order on formless potential. This interpretation reduces scope of creation while maintaining Arceus's divine status, organizing principle rather than ultimate generator. The plates connecting Arceus to fundamental types suggest close relationship between creator and creation, God personally imbuing every aspect of reality. This immanence contrasts with transcendent creator concepts, Arceus simultaneously above and within universe. The ability to change type by holding different plates demonstrates flexibility unusual for legendary Pokémon, identity fluid rather than fixed. This mutability raises questions about whether Arceus has true form or exists primarily as concept that can take any shape. Normal typing as default seems anticlimactic for creation god, association suggesting neutrality rather than magnificence. Yet normal type's lack of weaknesses or resistances provides balanced starting point, blank slate from which other types emerge. The classification becomes less disappointing when understood as potential rather than actuality, normal representing possibility of everything rather than presence of nothing. Arceus, in default state, contains all types simultaneously, plates merely focusing that universal potential into specific manifestation. Worship of Arceus varies dramatically across regions and cultures, some treating the dragon as literal god, while others view it as powerful but non-divine being. Religious movements have formed around Arceus sightings, prophets claiming direct communication with creation deity. These cults range from benign worship groups to dangerous fundamentalist organizations, belief in Arceus's divinity justifying various political agendas. The legendary's actual involvement with these groups remains unclear, Arceus rarely appearing, regardless of worship intensity. The creature's appearance suggests divine simplicity, white body, and golden ring avoiding excessive decoration. Normal typing seems anticlimactic for a god, though Arceus can change type by holding different plates. These 18 plates connect it to fundamental types, mastery of all elements, demonstrating comprehensive power. Judgment strikes down foes with light matching Arceus's current type, versatile attack that adapts to any situation. The move name emphasizes divine authority, Arceus passing sentence on those who oppose it. This religious framing makes some uncomfortable, though Pokémon mythology treats Arceus as literal god rather than metaphorical one. Victini brings victory to trainers who befriend it, probability manipulation, ensuring favorable outcomes. The creature generates unlimited energy, body-producing power that exceeds its small size. Fire and psychic typing, combined with Victory Star ability, make Victini formidable despite cute appearance. V-shaped ears and cream coloring give Victini distinctive silhouette, recognizable even in simplified form. The creature's connection to victory makes it popular among competitive trainers, though legendary status prevents official tournament use. This exclusion disappoints some who wish to test Victini's supposed victory-granting powers. Searing Shot burns enemies with explosive fireball, signature move that demonstrates Victini's offensive capabilities. The attack seems at odds with the creature's friendly demeanor, violence emerging from something so innocent-looking. This contrast appears frequently in legendary design, power and appearance rarely matching. Cobalion leads the Swords of Justice, quartet of legendary Pokémon protecting the weak from oppression. The creature embodies determination and nobility, standing firm against any threat to innocent lives. Steel and fighting typing reflects both literal blades and warrior spirit, combination making Cobalion excellent at both offense and defense. Blue coloring and blade-like horns distinguish Cobalion from other quartet members, leader's appearance suggesting authority. The creature's movements display grace, unexpected for its typing, elegant fighter rather than brutal brawler. This refinement matches its noble bearing, knight in Pokémon form. Sacred Sword ignores defensive boosts when calculating damage, appropriate for a creature that strikes at injustice regardless of protection. The move's ability to bypass barriers represents Cobalion's commitment to justice, determination that cannot be deterred by obstacles. Terrakion possesses immense physical strength, power sufficient to destroy castles with single charge. The creature protected Pokémon during Ancient War, sheltering helpless creatures from human conflict. Rock and Fighting typing emphasizes raw power, combination creating offensive powerhouse. Orange and gray coloring distinguishes Terrakion from other Swords of Justice, earthy tones suggesting connection to stone and soil. The creature's horns resemble battering rams, appropriate for Pokémon known for charging attacks. Speed surprises given its bulk, heavyweight moving with unexpected quickness. Virizion demonstrates incredible speed and swordsmanship, blade-like horns slicing through enemies with surgical precision. The creature represents swiftness and skill rather than raw power, contrast to Terrakion's approach. Grass and Fighting typing seems unusual, though the combination provides unique resistances. Green coloring and elegant design make Virizion seem more refined than its companions, Warrior, who fights with grace rather than brutality. The creature moves through forests without disturbing a single leaf, passage leaving no trace despite deadly capabilities. Keldeo serves as student to the three Swords of Justice, young warrior learning from experienced protectors. Water and Fighting typing distinguishes it from its mentors, aquatic, warrior rather than terrestrial one. The creature's horn becomes blade in resolute form, transformation triggered by learning Secret Sword. Yellow mane and horse-like appearance make Keldeo distinctive, design emphasizing youth and energy. The creature lacks the gravitas of older Swords of Justice, enthusiasm and inexperience still visible in its behavior. This coming-of-age narrative makes Keldeo relatable, legendary Pokémon still learning its role. Tornadus controls winds, flying type pure enough to avoid secondary typing. The creature generates massive tornadoes through movement alone, aerial power rivaling any legendary bird. Green coloring and cloud-like lower body mark Tornadus as obviously elemental, appearance leaving no doubt about its nature. Therian form transforms Tornadus from humanoid into bird, alternate form optimized for flight. the change affects battle performance, abilities shifting from prankster to regenerator. This mechanical difference makes form choice strategically significant, appearance reflecting different playstyle. Thundurus commands lightning, electric, and flying typing, creating obvious storm connection. The creature generates thunderclouds wherever it travels, tempests following in its wake. Blue coloring distinguishes it from Tornadus's green, palette swap indicating different elemental focus. The rivalry between Tornadus and Thundurus drives both creatures to create increasingly powerful storms, competition resulting in meteorological devastation. This destructive tendency makes both forces of nature rather than beings with moral consideration. They create storms because creation of storms is their purpose, intent, or malice irrelevant. Landorus ends conflicts between Tornadus and Thundurus, ground typing providing advantage over both flying and electric. The creature brings fertility to soil, minerals spreading wherever Landorus touches ground. Orange coloring and cloud-based lower body maintains visual consistency with the other forces of nature. Therian form resembles tiger or lion, predator form contrasting humanoid default. This transformation affects ability and stats, choice between sheer force and intimidate, depending on selected form. Competitive players favor Therian form for its superior offensive presence, though incarnate form has its advocates. Reshiram embodies truth, fire burning away deception to reveal reality. The white dragon releases flames from its tail, blue fire burning hotter than normal combustion. Dragon and fire typing creates powerful offensive combination, legendary excelling at overwhelming opponents through raw power. Truth, according to Reshiram, operates as absolute, singular reality that exists independent of perspective or belief. This philosophical position creates friction with those who view truth as relative or subjective, Reshiram's conviction allowing no compromise. The dragon will assist truth seekers, but abandons those who embrace comfortable lies, loyalty contingent on intellectual honesty. This unwavering principle makes Reshiram difficult ally, partnership requiring constant self-examination and willingness to confront unpleasant realities. Blue flames, produced by Reshiram, exceed temperatures found in normal fire, plasma-level heat that approaches surface of stars. These supernatural flames can melt substances with astronomical melting points, materials that should be immune to heat destruction, vaporizing instantly. The fire doesn't spread like normal combustion, instead remaining tightly controlled around Reshiram's body. This precise heat management prevents collateral damage, allowing the dragon to exist among flammable materials without igniting them. The original dragon that split into Reshiram and Zekrom allegedly possessed both truth and ideals in perfect balance, being representing complete philosophy. The schism occurred when two heroes disagreed fundamentally about what mattered more, debate escalating until neither could coexist with the other. The dragon's division reflects this irreconcilable difference, single being torn into opposed halves by philosophical conflict. Neither Reshiram nor Zekrom is complete, each containing only fragment of original whole. Legends describe catastrophic battles between truth and ideals, conflicts that raised kingdoms and rewrote geography. These ancient wars pitted Reshiram against Zekrom repeatedly, neither able to claim decisive victory. The struggle continues across generations, chosen heroes summoning the dragons to settle philosophical disputes through combat. This eternal conflict suggests truth and ideals cannot coexist permanently, tension between them fundamental to existence. Zekrom embodies ideals, electricity representing energy required to pursue goals. The black dragon generates lightning through its tail, blue bolts more powerful than natural electricity. Dragon and electric typing mirrors Reshiram's combination, parallel legendaries, requiring parallel designs. Ideals, according to Zekrom, transcend mere truth, representing aspirations and possibilities that don't yet exist. This forward-looking philosophy contrasts with Reshiram's focus on current reality, future potential valued over present fact. Zekrom assists those with strong convictions, regardless of whether those ideals align with objective reality, loyalty to vision rather than accuracy. This commitment to possibility makes Zekrom a powerful ally for revolutionaries and dreamers, though also potentially dangerous enabler for deluded fanatics. Electric generation operates at voltages that exceed natural lightning, power sufficient to obliterate most targets instantly. The controlled discharge allows Zekrom to modulate output from gentle static to city-leveling bolts, precision belying the massive energies involved. This versatility makes Zekrom adaptable combatant, appropriate force available for any situation. The fine control required suggests exceptional cognitive ability, intelligence capable of processing complex calculations amid battle chaos. The frozen body of QRM represents what remained after original Dragon Split, empty shell containing neither truth nor ideals. This remnant exists in state of incompleteness, body designed for wholeness, now operating at fraction of capacity. Ice typing reflects this emptiness, cold void, where warmth should exist. The dragon's appearance seems unfinished, body parts asymmetrical, and proportions awkward compared to Reshiram and Zekrom's elegant designs. Fusion with either truth or ideals, Dragon partially restores Kyurem, borrowed completeness, allowing access to greater power. White Kyurem combines emptiness with truth's fire, ice and flame, creating paradoxical being. Black Kyurem merges void with ideal's electricity, cold and lightning coexisting impossibly. These fusion forms remain incomplete, Kyurem unable to reunite with both halves simultaneously. The original complete dragon exists only in legend, being too powerful to manifest in weakened modern world. Glaciate freezes enemies while reducing their speed, signature move, demonstrating Kyurem's connection to ice. The attack slows everything it touches, appropriately reflecting empty nature that drains energy from surroundings. Keldeo learns Secret Sword through training with its mentors, blade technique representing maturity and readiness. The move ignores defensive calculations, instead targeting special defense with physical attack. This unusual property makes Secret Sword tactically interesting, bypassing traditional defensive planning. The Resolute Form transformation changes Keldeo's appearance, but not its stats, purely aesthetic shift that represents internal growth. The horn becomes longer and gains cutting-edge, physical manifestation of refined technique. This visual change marks progression from student to full member of Swords of Justice. Meloetta combines normal and psychic typing in Aria Forme, elegant dancer whose voice soothes savage hearts. The creature shifts to normal and fighting in pirouette form, graceful movements becoming combat techniques. This transformation occurs through Relic Song, signature move that both attacks and triggers form change. Musical inspiration defines Meloetta's design, entire body serving as instrument and performer simultaneously. The creature's voice can control emotions, songs inducing specific feelings in listeners. This power extends beyond simple mood manipulation into territory approaching mind control, music bypassing conscious resistance. Black hair styled into musical note shape makes Meloetta instantly recognizable, visual pun working across language barriers. The creature's two forms represent different performance styles, area versus pirouette, creating contrast between elegant and energetic. Both approaches serve beauty, different expressions of same artistic impulse. Genesect represents ancient bug Pokémon resurrected and enhanced with mechanical components. Team Plasma modified the creature, adding cannon to its back and optimizing its body for combat. Steel and bug typing reflects this cybernetic nature, biological foundation augmented with technological improvements. The cannon fires different types of attacks depending on installed drive, customization, allowing Genesect to adapt to various opponents. Water, fire, electric, and ice drives provide type coverage that few Pokémon can match. This versatility makes Genesect incredibly dangerous, mechanical precision combined with predatory instinct. Technoblast serves as signature move, cannon attack, whose type matches current drive. The blast delivers devastating special damage, power rivaling the strongest attacks available to any Pokémon. This offensive capability justified Team Plasma's investment in resurrection technology. Purple coloring with red accents creates aggressive appearance, appropriate for weapon system. The transformation from ancient creature into modern war machine raises ethical questions about scientific advancement, power gained through violation of natural form. These questions go unanswered within game lore, player left to draw own conclusions. Chesnaught stands as unlikely legendary despite initially appearing to be ordinary starter evolution. The confusion stems from game data organization rather than actual legendary status, though some players persist in believing Chesnaught deserves special classification. Grass and fighting typing creates defensive combination, sturdy protector rather than aggressive attacker. The creature shields allies with its own body, shell-absorbing damage that would destroy others. This selfless behavior defines Chesnaught's character, power used primarily for protection rather than offense. Spiky armor ability reflects this defensive focus, damage returned to physical attackers. Green coloring with brown shell creates forest warrior appearance, knight armored in, natural materials. The design emphasizes bulk and stability. Chesnaught appearing rooted to earth even when mobile. This grounded quality makes the creature feel reliable, solid presence that allies can depend upon. Xerneas embodies life itself, deer whose antlers glow with energy that animates dead matter. Fairy typing reflects its otherworldly nature, being beyond simple biology. The creature releases life energy when dying, sacrificing itself to preserve ecosystem balance. Life energy generated by Xerneas operates at cellular level, directly stimulating growth and division in living tissue. This bioelectric force accelerates natural processes, seeds sprouting within minutes, and wounds healing at visible rates. The energy doesn't discriminate between species, affecting all life equally from bacteria to complex organisms. This universal vitality makes Xerneas' presence transformative, dead zones converting to thriving ecosystems within hours of exposure. The 1,000 years dormancy cycle allows Xerneas to accumulate energy sufficient for its life-giving role, power gathering slowly through centuries of sleep. During active periods, the deer distributes this stored vitality, exhausting reserves until dormancy becomes necessary. The cycle suggests limits even to legendary power, Xerneas unable to generate life energy continuously without rest. This vulnerability makes the deer's active periods precious, brief windows when dead lands can be restored. Tree form concealment prevents discovery during dormancy, Xerneas resembling dead wood rather than living creature. This camouflage protects during vulnerability, form defenseless against threats that would destroy sleeping legendary. The transformation operates automatically when energy reserves deplete, survival instinct triggering regardless of Xerneas' preferences. Awakening requires either natural completion of thousand-year cycle or external crisis severe enough to justify premature activation. Rainbow antlers serve as both aesthetic feature and functional organ, structures channeling life energy in visible spectrum. The colors shift based on energy flow, patterns indicating Xerneas' current output levels. Observers who study these patterns can predict the deer's intentions, color combinations corresponding to specific actions. This unintentional communication creates vulnerability, enemies who learn the code gaining tactical advantage. Yveltal embodies destruction, bird whose awakening ends all life in surrounding region. Dark and flying typing reflects its apocalyptic nature, shadow creature that brings death wherever it appears. The power exceeds simple killing, Yveltal's destruction so complete that nothing remains to decompose. Death and energy operates through life force extraction, Yveltal draining vitality directly from living beings. The process leaves behind not corpses, but dust, organic matter, breaking down instantaneously as animating force vanishes. This complete dissolution prevents normal decomposition cycle, nutrients never returning to soil. Regions where Yveltal has fed become permanently sterile, land unable to support life until Xerneas intervenes. The cocoon form preserves Yveltal during dormancy, sleep lasting millennia between brief wakings. This hibernation pattern mirrors Xerneas' cycle, suggesting coordination between life and death legendaries. The timing ensures both never wake simultaneously, alternating activity preventing direct conflict. Whether this coordination occurs naturally or through deliberate planning remains unknown, though the precision seems unlikely to be coincidental. Awakening triggers wars and disasters, Yveltal's mere presence ending peace. The correlation appears absolute, historical records showing conflict emerging wherever the destruction bird appears. Whether Yveltal causes violence through supernatural influence or simply awakens in response to it remains debated. The chicken-egg paradox makes determining causation impossible, observation insufficient to distinguish cause from effect. Red and black coloring with claw-like wings creates intimidating silhouette, appearance leaving no doubt about dangerous nature. The design draws inspiration from various death gods and apocalypse myths, universal fear of ending crystallized into single creature. This archetypal quality makes Yveltal recognizable as harbinger even without prior knowledge, primal understanding that marks the bird as dangerous. The relationship between life and death legendaries operates as necessary cycle, neither able to exist without the other. Xerneas' creation requires Yveltal's destruction to make space, new growth impossible without clearing old. Similarly, Yveltal's death-bringing depends on Xerneas having created life to destroy. This mutual dependence creates paradox, enemies who cannot function independently. Oblivion Wing drains life from enemy, healing Yveltal for significant percentage of damage dealt. The vampiric attack reflects destruction's relationship with life, death feeding on vitality. This self-sustaining quality makes Yveltal incredibly difficult to defeat through attrition. Zygarde maintains order, serpent that prevents Xerneas and Yveltal from destroying reality through their conflict. The creature exists in multiple forms, cells and cores combining to create increasingly complete beings. 10% form resembles dog, 50% form takes serpentine shape, complete form becomes mechanical titan. This modular nature makes Zygarde unique among legendary Pokémon, power scaling based on how many components gather. Cells lack consciousness individually, requiring cores to provide direction. The distributed intelligence prevents Zygarde from being permanently defeated, destruction of one form merely forcing reorganization. Green and black coloring creates distinct appearance, geometric patterns suggesting order and structure, the design emphasizes Zygarde's role as balance keeper, neither alive nor dead, but rather enforcing equilibrium. This neutral position requires power to oppose either life or death, comprehensive strength necessary for maintaining order. Thousand Arrows grounds flying types, signature move that removes immunity to ground attacks. This ability to affect normally immune targets demonstrates Zygarde's authority, rules suspended when order demands an intervention. Core Enforcer removes defeated opponent's ability, further demonstrating control over fundamental mechanics. Diancie crystallizes carbon from thin air, princess who creates diamonds through thought alone. Rock and fairy typing reflects dual nature, solid matter combined with ethereal beauty. The creature evolved from Carbink through unknown process, mutation, or blessing, transforming common Pokémon into legendary princess. Pink coloring and crystalline dress create appearance of living jewelry, beauty that seems too perfect for natural occurrence. The design emphasizes Diancie's role as rare treasure, legendary Pokémon defined by its uniqueness. This scarcity makes Diancie highly sought after, though its unwillingness to create diamonds on demand frustrates those seeking wealth. Mega Evolution transforms Diancie further, crystalline growth expanding across its body. The transformation grants Magic Bounce ability, reflecting status moves back at attackers. This defensive capability combined with elevated stats makes Mega Diancie formidable, princess becoming queen through empowerment. Diamond Storm creates razor-sharp diamonds that rain down on opponents, signature move demonstrating Diancie's mastery over carbon. The attack may raise Diancie's defense, hardening its body alongside creating projectiles. This offensive and defensive utility makes Diamond Storm excellent signature move. Hoopa captures things in rings, dimension-hopping genie, whose portals connect distant locations instantly. The creature exists in two forms, confined appearing small and mischievous, while unbound grows enormous and menacing. Psychic and Ghost typing in, confined form becomes psychic and dark and unbound, transformation affecting fundamental nature. The rings serve as both tools and aesthetic elements, loops floating around Hoopa as it moves. These portals can transport anything from simple objects to entire buildings, size limitation unclear if one exists at all. The creature uses this power primarily for mischief rather than malice, stealing food and creating confusion rather than causing harm. Unbound form releases Hoopa's true power, Jin emerging from Lamp to grant its own wishes. The transformation lasts only 3 days, limitation that prevents Hoopa from remaining in unleashed state indefinitely. This temporary nature makes unbound form feel like ultimate attack rather than permanent transformation. Hyperspace Hole bypasses protective moves while dealing psychic damage, signature move that emphasizes Hoopa's spatial manipulation. The attack creates holes in space-time itself, defensive barriers meaningless against tears in reality. This ignore protection quality makes Hyperspace Hole tactically valuable despite modest base power. Volcanic represents steam, water, and fire combined impossibly into single typing. The creature releases pressurized vapor through arms, superheated steam capable of obliterating mountains. This destructive capability exceeds most legendary Pokemon's demonstrated power, raw force suggesting apocalyptic potential. Red and blue coloring creates clear visual division, fire and water sides separated yet joined. The design emphasizes this contradiction, impossible combination that nevertheless functions perfectly. Volcanian's existence challenges fundamental assumptions about type compatibility, water and fire coexisting without canceling each other. Steam eruption damages enemies while potentially burning them, signature move that showcases Volcanian's unique typing. The attack's burn chance makes it more reliable than other water moves for inflicting status, scalding steam more likely to burn than boiling water. This enhanced utility gives Volcanian tactical options beyond raw damage. Type: Null represents artificial legendary, chimera created from multiple Pokemon parts. The mask suppresses its power, limitation preventing the creature from harming itself through excessive strength. Normal typing reflects incomplete state. Type: Null lacking specialized focus until evolution removes restraints. Evolution into Silvally occurs through friendship, genuine connection, allowing the creature to master its power safely. The transformation adds Arcus system ability, memory items shifting Silvally's type to match. This versatility makes Silvally adaptable, single Pokemon covering roles that would typically require multiple team members. Gray coloring with mechanical components creates distinctly artificial appearance, being obviously manufactured rather than naturally occurring. The design emphasizes type: Null's role as failed experiment, creature that didn't meet its creator's expectations. This rejection becomes redemption through evolution, friendship succeeding where engineering failed. Multi-attack serves as signature move, power and type matching held memory. The versatile attack demonstrates Silvally's adaptability, same move functioning completely differently based on equipment. This mechanical flexibility makes Silvally tactically interesting despite middling stats. Tapu Koko protects Melemele Island, guardian deity whose presence brings prosperity. Electric and fairy typing creates unique combination, offensive power paired with defensive resistances. The creature appears frequently to those it favors, visible guardian rather than distant protector. The orange shell closes around Tapu Koko when resting, protection during vulnerable periods. This shell serves as both armor and storage creatures, withdrawing into safety when not actively defending. The opening and closing creates distinct visual states, mood readable through body language. Electric Surge automatically creates electric terrain when Tapu Koko enters battle, ability reflecting the Guardian's elemental affinity. This automatic field effect supports electric attacks while preventing sleep, tactical benefit that doesn't require action economy. Nature's Madness reduces target's HP by half, signature move that bypasses traditional damage calculations. Tapu Lele protects Akala Island, psychic guardian whose scales cause intense pain or miraculous healing depending on recipient. Psychic and fairy typing emphasizes supernatural nature, being beyond physical explanation. The creature appears rarely, preferring observation to intervention. Pink shell with butterfly motif creates delicate appearance that belies dangerous nature. The scales shed constantly, powder accumulating wherever Tapu Lele travels. Contact with these scales proves unpredictable, same substance causing opposite effects based on unknown factors. Psychic Surge creates psychic terrain automatically, ability supporting psychic attacks while preventing priority moves. This terrain control provides consistent benefit, advantage maintained through entire battle. Nature's Madness deals identical percentage damage regardless of Tapu Lele's offensive stats, guaranteed effect that supports various strategies. Tapu Bulu protects Ula Ula Island, Grass Guardian, whose strength exceeds the other Tapu. Grass and fairy typing creates unexpected defensive combination, resistances covering common attacking types. The creature rarely shows itself, preferring to maintain distance from those it protects. Red shell with bull motif emphasizes physical power, appearance matching aggressive nature. The wooden tail serves as weapon, club, that demolishes obstacles with casual swings. This physical approach contrasts with other Tapu's more supernatural methods, direct violence solving problems that others address through manipulation. Grassy Surge creates grassy terrain automatically, ability benefiting grass attacks while providing passive healing. This terrain grants sustain that other guardians lack, slow recovery, adding up across extended battles. Nature's Madness maintains consistent effect across all Tapu, signature move unifying the quartet. Tapu Fini protects Pony Island, Water Guardian, whose fog confuses those who enter its domain. Water and Fairy typing provides excellent defensive profile, resistances protecting against common attacks. The creature tests visitors rather than welcoming them, challenges determining whether outsiders deserve protection or expulsion. Purple Shell with fish motif creates aquatic appearance appropriate for Water Guardian. The fog generated by Tapu Fini serves multiple purposes: concealment and confusion, protecting the Guardian's domain. Those who become lost in mist rarely emerge. Fate of trespassers left ambiguous. Misty Surge creates misty terrain automatically, ability preventing status conditions while reducing dragon damage. This terrain provides defensive benefits that complement Tapu Fini's naturally sturdy profile. Nature's Madness maintains a thematic consistency across Guardian Quartet, same move, emphasizing their related nature. Cosmog begins as gaseous cloud, stellar being in earliest developmental stage. Psychic typing reflects otherworldly origin, creature from beyond planet's atmosphere. The body produces light constantly, illumination that seems sourceless given lack of internal organs. Evolution into Cosmoem compresses Cosmog into dense core, pressure and gravity combining into black hole density. The weight exceeds most scales' measurement capacity, tiny body containing mass of collapsed star. This transformation demonstrates how dramatically legendary Pokémon can change, same being existing in radically different states. Further evolution splits based on game version, Cosmoem becoming either Solgaleo or Lunala. This branching reflects sun and moon duality, paired legendaries representing complementary celestial bodies. The choice locks in enduring evolution. No method exists for changing which form Cosmoem takes. Solgaleo embodies the sun, Lion, whose body channels stellar fusion. Psychic and Steel typing reflects burning metal, astronomical temperatures contained within physical form. The creature devours light, feeding on photons to sustain its internal processes. White coloring with golden mane creates solar appearance, design emphasizing connection to daylight. The mane radiates constantly, third phase state maintained through supernatural means. This perpetual emission prevents Solgaleo from existing undetected, presence announcing itself through impossible brightness. Sunsteel Strike ignores abilities when calculating damage, signature move that bypasses all defensive traits. This universal effectiveness makes Sunsteel Strike reliable, guaranteed performance regardless of opponent. The physical attack suits Solgaleo's aggressive appearance, lion that overwhelms through direct force. Lunala embodies the moon, bat whose wings block out starlight. Psychic and ghost typing emphasizes nocturnal nature, creature of night and shadow. The wings absorb light rather than reflecting it, darkness spreading from Lunala's presence. Purple coloring with crescent motif creates lunar appearance, design clearly marking Lunala as Solgaleo's counterpart. The wings span enormous distance, size exceeding most legendary Pokémon despite Lunala's moderate weight. This contradiction suggests supernatural structure, physical laws suspended for convenience. Moongeist Beam ignores abilities when calculating damage, parallel to Sunsteel Strike. The special attack suits Lunala's ghostly nature, beam of concentrated darkness rather than physical blow. This mechanical similarity emphasizes Solgaleo and Lunala's paired status, different expressions of same basic concept. Necrozma absorbs light desperately, crystalline beings suffering from energy starvation. Psychic typing reflects alien nature, creature from dimension where light functions differently. The black body devours photons without satisfying eternal hunger, consumption only temporarily sating need. The dimension Necrozma originates from apparently contained, no natural light sources, existence in perpetual darkness, creating dependency on external illumination. When Necrozma crossed into reality with normal light physics, the abundance overwhelmed systems evolved for scarcity. The creature began absorbing compulsively, hunger that could never be satisfied because it was designed for environment that no longer existed. This incompatibility between origin and current location dooms Necrozma to perpetual starvation. Light absorption operates through prism-like crystalline structure, Necrozma's body functioning as living lens array. Photons entering. These crystals become trapped, bouncing internally until energy dissipates. The process should generate tremendous heat, yet Necrozma remains cold to touch, suggesting energy transforms into something other than thermal radiation. Where absorbed light actually goes remains mysterious, vanishing without obvious destination or purpose. Fusion with Solgaleo or Lunala provides partial relief, borrowed light easing, but not eliminating hunger. The fusion operates parasitically, Necrozma draining captured legendary to sustain itself. Duskmane and Dawn Wings forms represent uncomfortable compromises, Necrozma gaining temporary satisfaction at cost of another being's freedom. The legendary hosts seem conscious during fusion, imprisoned rather than merged, awareness making the arrangement particularly disturbing. Ultra Necrozma represents what Necrozma should be, proper illumination restoring the creature to intended state. The transformation is complete, rather than superficial, damaged, systems repairing, and biological functions normalizing. The radiant golden form suggests Necrozma wasn't originally light-absorbing, but light-generating, creature designed to illuminate rather than consume. The inversion from creator to consumer represents ultimate tragedy, purpose fundamentally reversed by dimensional displacement. The crystalline structure suggests artificial rather than natural origins, geometry too perfect for evolutionary development. Some theorists propose Necrozma was constructed rather than born, machine or weapon created for purposes now forgotten. This would explain the maladaptation to normal dimensions, tool optimized for specific environment failing catastrophically when removed from context. The distinction between the living being and sophisticated device blurs when examining Necrozma's biological mechanics. Light that burns the sky serves as exclusive Z-move, attack whose type matches Necrozma's current form. The versatile ultimate technique demonstrates supreme power, apocalyptic blast that few Pokémon survive. This overwhelming force establishes Necrozma as threat beyond normal legendary concerns. Magyarna represents mechanical life, clockwork princess whose body contains artificial soul. Steel and fairy typing reflects its constructed nature, metal given consciousness through soul heart. The creature was created as gift, masterwork intended to bring joy. Victorian aesthetic defines Magyarna's appearance, gears and cogs visible through transparent sections. The design emphasizes craftsmanship, being carefully assembled rather than grown. Original color, Magyarna features different paint scheme, older version discovered in ancient records. Fluor Cannon delivers devastating special damage, while sharply reducing Magerna's special attack, signature move that represents ultimate attack. The self-infliction makes Fleur Cannon unsuitable for repeated use, one-time super weapon rather than reliable option. This limitation forces strategic timing, power available but requiring careful deployment. Soul Heart boosts special attack whenever any Pokemon faints, ability that scales with battle carnage. This morbid empowerment makes Magerna increasingly dangerous as combat continues, fallen allies and enemies alike fueling its power. The mechanical nature allows this detached view of death, artificial consciousness processing loss as simple statistics. Marshadow hides in shadows, spectral fighter that mimics techniques it observes. Fighting and ghost typing creates a unique combination, physical prowess paired with supernatural properties. The creature remains invisible in normal light, darkness required for manifestation. Green and gray coloring with flame-like wisps creates distinctive appearance despite small size. The design emphasizes stealth and observation, watching from concealment rather than confronting directly. This passive approach contrasts with Marshadow's fighting type, combat abilities hidden behind avoidance. Spectral Thief steals targets' stat boosts before dealing damage, signature move that combines offense with disruption. The theft occurs before damage calculation, stolen boosts immediately benefiting Marshadow's attack. This effect makes Spectral Thief excellent against setup sweepers, punishing opponents who invest turns in boosting. Soul-stealing 7-star strike serves as exclusive Z-move, overwhelming physical attack that demonstrates Marshadow's ultimate technique. The dramatic name emphasizes martial arts inspiration, special technique hidden until the perfect moment. This ultimate attack establishes Marshadow as master fighter despite its tendency to hide. Zeraora manipulates electricity without generating it, thunder stored and released through body. Pure electric typing makes Zeraora unique among electric legendaries, no secondary type diluting specialization. The creature moves at lightning speed, velocity approaching electricity's own flow. Yellow and black coloring with angular design creates aggressive appearance, predator built for overwhelming opponents through pure speed. The body channels electricity through specific pathways, biological wiring optimized for conducting power. This physiological specialization allows Zeraora to handle voltages that would destroy other Pokemon. Plasma Fists turns normal moves into electric type, signature move that alters the battlefield itself. This effect benefits any Pokemon using normal attacks, unintended support that can backfire if opponents carry such moves. The transformation emphasizes Zeraora's mastery over electricity, element bending to accommodate the legendary's will. Volt Absorb heals Zeraora when hit by electric attacks, ability that turns potential weakness into opportunity. This immunity combined with already strong electric attacks makes Zeraora incredibly difficult to counter with electrical Pokemon. The built-in advantage demonstrates legendary status, tools provided for dominating its own type. Melton represents metallic life, liquid steel given simple consciousness. Steel typing as single classification makes Melton unique, pure metal composition without additional elements. The creature's hex nut head rotates constantly, nervous tick or scanning behavior. Small size and cute appearance disguise Melton's true nature, being that dissolves and reconstitutes at will. The liquid metal body allows Melton to squeeze through impossibly small spaces, physical form more suggestion than limitation. This fluid existence makes traditional capture difficult, creature simply flowing away from containment. Evolution into Melmetal requires transferring multiple Melton into Pokemon Go, unusual requirement that crosses game boundaries. This unprecedented evolution method confused many trainers, mechanics operating differently than any previous legendary. The requirement emphasizes Melton's unique status, belonging to different category than traditional legendaries. Melmetal represents perfected metallic life, liquid steel compressed into towering form. Steel typing continues from pre-evolution, single type focus maintained despite dramatic size increase. The body contains hexnut core, vital component carried over from Melton form. Gray coloring with golden accents creates industrial appearance, being that looks manufactured despite biological nature. The massive fists serve as primary weapons, heavy metal delivering crushing blows. These limbs can separate and rocket toward enemies, detached attacks that return after striking. Double Iron Bash hits twice per use, signature move that emphasizes Melmetal's physical prowess. Each strike may cause flinching, overwhelmed opponents unable to respond. This disruption, combined with Steel type's excellent neutral coverage, makes Double Iron Bash reliable offensive tool. Iron Fist boosts punching moves, ability that synergizes with Double Iron Bash. This combination elevates already powerful attack into truly devastating force, doubled strikes hitting harder than stats alone suggest. The specialization into punching creates clear identity, Melmetal defined by its fists. Zacian wields legendary sword in crowned sword form, blade held in mouth like trophy. Fairy and steel typing replaces pure fairy, weapon granting additional type. The creature protected Galar in ancient conflict, hero whose deeds became legend. The sword itself contains centuries of battle memory, metal somehow recording every strike it has delivered. Warriors who touch the blade report experiencing flashes of past conflicts, overwhelming sensory data that can drive unprepared minds to madness. This psychometric property makes the weapon semi-sentient, intelligence emerging from accumulated combat experience. Zacian's relationship with the sword transcends simple tool use, partnership between equals rather than wielder and implement. Ancient Galar war involved threats whose exact nature remains disputed, historical records contradictory or deliberately obscured. Some accounts describe invasion from another region, foreign powers seeking to conquer. Others suggest internal conflict, civil war tearing the region apart. A third interpretation proposes something non-human, entities from beyond normal reality, threatening existence itself. The truth may incorporate elements from all versions, complex crisis requiring legendary intervention. The partnership between Zacian and ancient heroes represents ideal cooperation, human and Pokémon working as unified force. These heroes matched Zacian's combat prowess through skill rather than supernatural power, ordinary people elevated by determination and training. The legendary chose them not for strength, but for character, recognizing qualities that made partnership possible. This selective bonding suggests Zacian possesses sophisticated judgment, ability to assess potential allies that exceeds simple power evaluation. Cyan coloring creates distinctive appearance among legendary Pokémon, unusual hue that marks Zacian as unique. The color may have symbolic significance in Galarian culture, particular shade carrying meanings lost to modern understanding. Archaeological evidence suggests ancient Galar associated cyan with protection and nobility, fitting associations for legendary guardian. The shade remains consistent across all artistic depictions, suggesting the coloring matters beyond simple aesthetics. Zamazenta carries legendary shield in crowned shield form, defense held as protection. Fighting and steel typing replaces pure fighting, shield providing secondary type. The creature defended Galar alongside Zacian, partnership maintaining peace across generations. The shield's defensive capabilities exceed anything explainable through conventional physics, force absorption, suggesting energy manipulation at quantum level. Kinetic impacts disappear into the shield without generating heat or sound, momentum vanishing rather than redirecting. This perfect absorption makes Zamazenta nearly invulnerable from frontal assault, attacks simply ceasing to exist upon contact with the shield. The mechanism behind this impossible defense remains unexplained, though theories involving pocket dimensions and energy nullification abound. Magenta coloring creates visual symmetry, with Zacian's cyan, paired legendaries maintaining aesthetic consistency. The color combination suggests intentional design, perhaps indicating shared origin or purpose. Galarian legends describe the two as siblings or created companions, beings made to work together rather than independently. This codependency appears in their combat tactics, Zacian's offense complementing Zamazenta's defense to create unbeatable combination. The relationship between sword and shield legendaries demonstrates how partnership can exceed individual capability, combined strength surpassing simple addition. Zacian and Zamazenta together represent complete warrior, offense and defense unified into tactical whole. This cooperation extends beyond mere fighting efficiency into emotional support, centuries of partnership creating bond that transcends species or purpose. The legendary duo functions as single organism during crisis, coordination so perfect that distinguishing individual contributions becomes impossible. Behemoth Bash scales damage against Dynamax opponents, parallel to Behemoth Blade. The bashing attack suits Zamazenta's defensive nature, shield becoming weapon through overwhelming force. This dual-purpose equipment demonstrates efficiency, single tool serving multiple roles. Dauntless Shield boosts defense upon entering battle, ability complementing Zamazenta's protective role. This automatic enhancement improves already excellent bulk, legendary becoming wall that opponents struggle to overcome. The consistent defensive boost makes Zamazenta a reliable pivot, switch in, that weathers attacks other Pokemon cannot. Aeternatus caused Dynamax phenomenon, alien dragon, whose energy leaks into Galar's environment. Poison and dragon typing reflects toxic nature, creature bringing contamination. The core contains concentrated energy, power source that created regional gimmick. Purple coloring with skeletal design creates menacing appearance, death and poison embodied in single being. The body stretches impossibly long in Eternamax form, size exceeding all other Pokemon. This cosmic scale establishes Eternatus as ultimate threat, being whose defeat required cooperation between rival legendaries. Eternabeam delivers massive special damage while requiring recharge turn, signature move representing ultimate attack. The devastation justifies the recovery period, single strike eliminating threats that would withstand lesser assaults. This high-risk, high-reward dynamic makes Eternabeam situational, powerful tool requiring careful timing. Pressure doubles opponent PP consumption, ability emphasizing war of attrition. This passive effect benefits Eternatus' strong bulk, defensive profile supporting strategy that runs enemies dry. The combination of offense and endurance makes Eternatus a complete package, legendary excelling in multiple roles. Kubfu seeks perfection through training, fighting style defined by dedication to improvement. Pure fighting type emphasizes physical focus, creature defined by martial prowess. The small size belies its potential, unassuming appearance concealing legendary power. Evolution requires a scaling tower, trial determining which form Kubfu achieves. Single strike style emerges from Tower of Darkness, aggressive approach becoming formal style. Rapid strike style comes from Tower of Waters, fluid combat, replacing straightforward aggression. This branching reflects philosophical division, same goal approached through opposite methods. Gray coloring with minimal markings creates blank slate appearance, creature waiting to be defined through training. The design emphasizes potential rather than achievement, Kubfu representing beginning rather than end. This developmental focus distinguishes Kubfu from most legendaries, growth remaining possible rather than power being fixed. Urshifu masters chosen style, evolution, perfecting technique practiced during training. Fighting and dark typing defines single strike style, overwhelming offense through devastating blows. Fighting and water typing defines rapid strike style, flowing combinations, maintaining constant pressure. The tower's choice becomes permanent identity, evolved form, determining strategy and tactics. This irreversible decision adds weight to training path, commitment to philosophy becoming literal transformation. The finality makes choosing tower significant, consequences extending beyond simple mechanical differences. Wicked Blow always scores critical hit when used by single strike Urshifu, signature move that bypasses luck. This guaranteed critical makes damage consistent, power reliable rather than variable. Surging Strikes hits 3 times when used by Rapid Strike Urshifu, combination attack representing flowing style. Both moves demonstrate mastery, perfected techniques that define each form's approach. Unseen Fist ignores protection when making contact, ability unique to Urshifu's forms. This bypass makes defensive tactics ineffective. Legendaries attacks landing regardless of opponent's preparation. The Supernatural Fist connects with targets that should be untouchable, martial prowess transcending physical limitations. Regi consists of pure electric energy contained in patterned shell, lightning given semi-solid form. Pure electric typing emphasizes specialization, creature defined entirely by its element. The containment prevents Regi from dissipating, bands holding electricity that would otherwise scatter. Yellow coloring with geometric patterns creates modern appearance, recent addition feeling different from ancient Regis. The design maintains dotted face motif, 7 points arranged in lightning bolt shape. This visual connection establishes Regi as legitimate Regi despite different aesthetic. Thunder Cage traps opponents while dealing damage over time, signature move that combines offense with control. The Electrical Prison prevents switching, forcing target to endure sustained damage. This utility makes Thunder Cage excellent against defensive Pokémon, setup opportunities denied through continuous pressure. Transistor boosts electric attacks, ability that amplifies Regieleki's offensive presence. This enhancement combined with incredible speed makes Regieleki devastating offensive force, fastest legendary Pokémon. The combination of velocity and power creates constant pressure, opponents overwhelmed before responding. Regidrago contains dragon energy concentrated into crystalline head, incomplete body, suggesting unfinished creation. Dragon typing as soul classification emphasizes focus, creature designed for single purpose. The head comprises most of Regidrago's mass, body reduced to minimum necessary structure. Green coloring with transparent sections reveals internal energy, design showing rather than hiding the creature's composition. The massive jaws serve as primary weapon, dragon head capable of tremendous bite force. These jaws operate without supporting musculature, energy itself providing force. Dragon energy scales with Regidrago's remaining HP, signature move growing weaker as battle progresses. This reverse scaling creates interesting dynamic, front-load damage forcing opponents to weather initial assault. The move punishes slow approaches, taking advantage before gradual chip damage reduces effectiveness. Dragon's Maw boosts dragon attacks, ability elevating Regidrago's offensive presence. This enhancement combines with solid base power to create potent physical attacker, legendary hitting harder than stats initially suggest. The focused boost emphasizes Regidrago's specialized nature, being optimized for specific role. Glastrier represents Frozen Horse, Ice Cavalry from Ancient Era. Pure Ice typing emphasizes elemental focus, creature defined by frost and cold. The body temperature reaches absolute zero, physical impossibility maintained through legendary status. White coloring with icicle mane creates wintry appearance, design clearly marking Glastrier as ice creature. The hooves freeze ground with each step, permafrost spreading from points of contact. This environmental effect demonstrates power leaking constantly, strength too great for complete containment. Glacial Lance strikes enemies with ice projectiles, signature move that demonstrates Glastrier's offensive capabilities. The physical attack suits mounted combat theme, charging warrior delivering devastating blow. High power combined with solid accuracy makes Glacial Lance reliable, signature move worth building strategy around. Chilling Neigh boosts attack when Glastrier scores knockout, ability encouraging aggressive tactics. This snowball effect makes Glastrier increasingly dangerous, momentum building with each successful elimination. The Feast or Famine dynamic suits cavalry role, charge succeeding completely or failing catastrophically. Spectrier represents Ghostly Horse, Shadow Cavalry from Beyond Death. Pure ghost typing emphasizes supernatural nature, creature existing between life and death. The body lacks physical substance, ethereal form passing through solid matter. Black coloring with purple mist creates ominous appearance, design marking Spectrier as clearly supernatural. The movement makes no sound, silent stride that announces nothing. This stealth allows surprise, despite Spectrier's intimidating appearance, ghost arriving without warning. Astral Barrage strikes enemies with ghostly projectiles, signature move parallel to Glacial Lance. The special attack suits Spectrier's immaterial nature, energy blast rather than physical blow. Identical power and accuracy create mechanical symmetry, paired legendaries maintaining balance. Grim Neigh boosts special attack when Spectrier scores knockout, ability mirroring Chilling Neigh. This snowball effect encourages similar aggressive tactics, momentum critical for success. The special attack boost suits Spectrier's stat distribution, Ghost Cavalry excelling at special offense. Calyrex ruled Ancient Galar, king whose telepathy controlled minds. Psychic and grass typing reflects mental power, consciousness manipulating nature. The creature's reign ended when humans forgot, worship cessation causing power loss. The telepathic rule operated through mental suggestion rather than absolute control, Calyrex guiding rather than dominating subjects. This gentle leadership created prosperous era, kingdom thriving under psychic guidance that prevented conflict before it emerged. The reign lasted centuries or millennia, exact duration lost to historical gaps and mythological embellishment. Archaeological evidence confirms Calyrex's reality, though separating fact from legend proves difficult given cultural tendency toward aggrandizement. Power loss following forgotten worship suggests dependence on belief or recognition, divine authority requiring acknowledgement to function. This vulnerability seems unusual for legendary Pokémon, most maintaining power regardless of observation or devotion. The dependency implies Calyrex operates under different rules than other legendaries, perhaps being from distinct category or origin. Alternative explanation proposes emotional rather than mechanical relationship. Calyrex choosing withdrawal rather than ruling subjects who no longer want guidance. The diminished state appears reversible, fusion with Glastrier or Spectrier restoring some lost glory. This suggests Calyrex's weakness stems from isolation rather than inherent decline, partnership with powerful mount compensating for deficiencies. The willingness to share power demonstrates humility, unusual for monarchs, practical recognition that cooperation exceeds solitary rule. This collaborative approach may explain the original kingdom's success, leader who prioritized effectiveness over ego. Small size creates comic contrast with royal bearing, physical form failing to match dignified personality. The design intentionally creates this dissonance, undercutting expectations while maintaining Calyrex's essential nobility. Humor emerges from this juxtaposition, though mockery feels inappropriate, given the genuine tragedy of Calyrex's fall. The creature deserves respect despite appearance, former king maintaining dignity despite reduced circumstances. Fusion with Glastrier creates Ice Rider Calyrex, mounted king wielding frozen power. The union operates as true partnership, rider and mount sharing consciousness while maintaining distinct personalities. This mental merger allows perfect coordination, two beings thinking as one, without losing individual identity. The process suggests incredible mental discipline, maintaining ego boundaries while achieving unity of purpose. Psychic and ice typing creates unique combination, mental manipulation complemented by elemental force. The physical power Glastrier provides addresses Calyrex's greatest weakness, fragile body, compensated by mount's durability. The partnership transforms Calyrex from vulnerable administrator into combatant, king finally possessing martial power to match authority. This transformation proves that leadership requires not just vision, but strength to implement it. Fusion with Spectrier creates Shadow Rider, Calyrex, mounted king, commanding ghostly power. The spectral bond operates differently than physical fusion, death and energy influencing living consciousness in ways that prove unsettling. Calyrex merged with Spectrier demonstrates greater aggression, Shadow Mount's influence, perhaps encouraging darker impulses. The personality shift suggests fusion affects psychology beyond simple power sharing, merged beings becoming something neither component was independently. Psychic and ghost typing emphasizes supernatural authority, consciousness extending into death itself. The combination Mutsos allows Calyrex to command both living and dead, kingdom potentially including subjects from beyond grave. This necromantic implication disturbs some observers, though Calyrex shows no inclination toward raising undead armies. The potential exists regardless, capability that could be misused by being less principled than the Psychic King. Glacial Lance and Astral Barrage become Calyrex's moves when riding respective steed, signature moves inherited from Mount. This power sharing demonstrates genuine partnership, king and mount functioning as unit. As one ability combines rider's abilities, legendary duo greater than sum of parts. Enamorous brings love and blessing, genie whose presence creates harmony between living things. Fairy and flying typing reflects otherworldly nature, creature beyond mortal comprehension. The transformation between forms demonstrates versatility, incarnate and Therian forms serving different purposes. Pink coloring with cloud-like elements creates distinctive appearance, design marking enamorous as related to other forces of nature. The heart motif emphasizes love theme, visual language communicating purpose. This aesthetic consistency maintains pattern while distinguishing through specific details. Springtide Storm damages enemies while potentially reducing their attack, signature move that combines offense with disruption. The attack represents spring itself, seasonal change that renews while overwhelming. This dual function makes Springtide Storm tactically interesting, damage accompanied by potential debuff. Cute Charm may cause infatuation when Enamorous receives contact, ability that supports its thematic focus on love. This status effect can cripple physical attackers, romantic, obsession, preventing half of all attacks. The unreliability makes Cute Charm frustrating, but potential payoff justifies inclusion. Wo-Chien embodies grudge sealed within wooden tablets, malice given form through human negativity. Dark and grass typing reflects twisted nature, corrupted plant life. The snail shell, composed of tablets, serves as both armor and curse, protection inseparable from corruption. Brown coloring with glowing eyes creates ominous appearance, design suggesting ancient evil. The slow movement belies dangerous nature, speed unnecessary when power overwhelms. This confidence allows patient hunting, prey inevitably falling to accumulated curses. Tablets of Ruin reduces all physical attack stats, ability affecting entire battlefield, including allies. This indiscriminate debuff represents Wo-Chien's grudge, malice targeting everything equally. The reduction forces special-focused strategies, physical attackers hampered simply by Wo-Chien's presence. Ruination removes half of target's remaining HP, signature move shared across Treasures of Ruin. This percentage-based damage guarantees impact regardless of stats, consistent pressure that supports various strategies. The dramatic name emphasizes destructive nature, attack that lives up to billing. Qian Pao embodies hatred frozen in sword, malice preserved in ice. Dark and ice typing reflects frozen hatred, emotion crystallized through generations. The sword fragments serve as fangs, blade work becoming natural weaponry. This fusion of tool and body creates efficient predator, legendary optimized for killing. White coloring with icy blue accents creates winter predator appearance, design suggesting danger and cold. The lean build emphasizes speed over power, quick striker rather than bulky brawler. This specialization makes Qian Pao excellent assassin, legendary excelling at eliminating key targets. Sword of Ruin reduces all physical defense stats, ability forcing vulnerability across battlefield. This indiscriminate reduction amplifies all physical attacks, turning normal blows into devastating strikes. The effect benefits physical teammates, Qian Pao enabling sweepers through defensive reduction. Ting Lu embodies grudge contained within bronze vessel, malice given weight. Dark and ground typing reflects earthen nature, heavy presence that crushes opposition. The vessel serves as body, curse taking physical form through possessed artifact. This inhabitation creates being of tremendous mass, legendary's weight exceeding appearance. Brown coloring with bronze details creates ancient appearance, design suggesting archaeological discovery. The four legs provide stable platform, low center of gravity preventing toppling. This stability allows aggressive tactics, confident movement that fears no retaliation. Vessel of Ruin reduces all special attack stats, ability hampering special attackers across battlefield. This indiscriminate reduction forces physical strategies, special offense crippled by Ting Lu's mere presence. The debuff protects Ting Lu from special attacks while enabling physical teammates. Qi Yu embodies envy swimming in sacred beads, jealousy given aquatic form. Dark and fire typing creates unusual combination, flames burning underwater through supernatural means. The goldfish form references prosperity, wealth twisted into vehicle for envy. This corruption transforms positive symbol into carrier for negative emotion. Red coloring with gold accents creates striking appearance, design suggesting both beauty and danger. The small size conceals power, unassuming form, hiding tremendous strength. This deception allows underestimation, opponents dismissing Chi-Yu until too late. Beads of Ruin reduces all special defense stats, ability forcing vulnerability to special attacks. This indiscriminate reduction benefits all special attackers, Chi-Yu enabling teammates through defensive reduction. The effect creates glass cannon, environment, everything hitting harder while dying faster. The Treasures of Ruin draw inspiration from 4 perils in Chinese mythology, legendary creatures representing chaos and evil. The grudge theme unifies Quartet, each treasure formed from preserved human negativity. This origin creates tragic figures, beings created by mortal failing rather than natural process. Koraidon represents ancient past, prehistoric motorcycle dragon from Forgotten Era. Fighting and dragon typing reflects physical power, creature built for overwhelming force. The wheels serve as decorative elements, chest and throat suggesting but not actually being mechanical parts. Red coloring with reptilian features creates primal appearance, design emphasizing prehistoric nature. The powerful build suggests pure physicality, raw strength without technological enhancement. This naturalistic approach distinguishes Koraidon from Miraidon's futuristic aesthetic. Collision Course doubles power when attack is super susceptibles, effective signature move that rewards type advantage. This bonus transforms normal damage into devastating blow, legendary capitalizing on weakness. The move's abilities sharing with Paradox Pokémon creates thematic connection, past creatures sharing attacking philosophy. Orichalcum Pulse creates harsh sunlight automatically upon entering battle, abilities supporting fire moves while weakening water attacks. This weather control benefits Koraidon's teammates, field effect maintained without action expenditure. The ability shares name with mysterious legendary metal, connection suggesting hidden significance. Miraidon represents distant future, mechanical motorcycle dragon from unborn timeline. Electric and dragon typing reflects technological advancement, creature enhanced through scientific progress. The wheels actually function, hovering allowing smooth movement across any terrain. Purple coloring with cybernetic features creates futuristic appearance, design emphasizing technological sophistication. The sleek build suggests speed and precision, refined efficiency over raw power. This technological focus distinguishes Miraidon from Koraidon's naturalistic design. Electro Drift doubles power when attack is super effective, signature move parallel to Collision Course. This bonus creates similar damage multiplication, future and past attacking differently but equally effectively. The move sharing across Paradox Pokémon establishes mechanical pattern, temporal creatures operating under similar principles. Hadron Engine creates electric terrain automatically upon entering battle, abilities supporting electric moves while preventing sleep. This terrain control provides consistent benefit, advantage maintained across entire battle. The ability name references particle physics, futuristic terminology matching Miraidon's aesthetic. Okadogi became strong through Pecharunt's toxic chain, transformation granting power previously impossible. Poison and fighting. Typing reflects contaminated strength, power gained through corruption. The Loyal Three followed Pecharunt's orders, heroes worshipped despite actual villainy. Black and purple coloring with muscular build creates intimidating appearance, design suggesting raw power. The chain wraps around body, visual reminder of connection to Pecharunt. This permanent marking demonstrates transformation's permanence, change that cannot be undone. Munkidori became intelligent through Pecharunt's toxic chain, gaining wisdom at cost of autonomy. Poison and psychic typing reflects mental enhancement, thoughts elevated through contamination. The apparent cleverness masks underlying control, intelligence serving Pecharunt's purposes. Purple coloring with prominent forehead creates distinctive appearance, design emphasizing mental focus. The chain forms headband, corruption worn as decoration. This casual display suggests acceptance of control, mind enhanced enough to rationalize servitude. Fezandipity became beautiful through Pecharunt's toxic chain, ugliness replaced with artificial splendor. Poison and fairy typing reflects contaminated beauty, appearance enhanced through toxins. The supposed magnificence serves Pecharunt's purposes, beauty attracting those who might otherwise avoid poison. Purple and black coloring with peacock features creates a showy appearance, design emphasizing aesthetic appeal. The chain forms necklace, corruption worn as jewelry. This decorative integration suggests pride and transformation, beauty justifying corruption's price. The Loyal 3 reference Momotaro tail, dog monkey, and pheasant accompanying the boy born from Peach. The story involves fighting ogres, connection to Ogerpon creating ironic reversal. Heroes become villains, while supposed villain proves innocent, legend twisted through time. Ogerpon wears masks granting different forms, transformation dependent on equipment. Grass typing remains constant, while additional type changes based on mask. The creature's mischievous nature contradicts vilification, playful spirit wrongly branded as evil. 4 masks provide 4 forms, each emphasizing different combat approach. Teal mask maintains pure grass typing, default form providing no secondary type. Wellspring mask adds water, balance to offense and defense. Hearthflame mask adds fire, aggressive approach prioritizing offense. Cornerstone mask adds rock, defensive focus emphasizing survival. Cudgel serves as signature weapon, club scaled to Ogerpon's small size. The attack changes type to match current mask, versatility supporting various strategies. High critical hit rate makes Cudgel reliable, consistent damage output, regardless of form. Terapagos originated the terrestrial phenomenon, ancient turtle, whose shell crystallized type energy. 3 forms demonstrate increasing power, progression from dormant to active to empowered state. Normal form appears outside battle, compact size, allowing easy transport. Terrestrial form activates in battle, shell opening to reveal crystalline structure. The transformation increases stats moderately, power boost necessary for combat effectiveness. This automatic enhancement distinguishes Terapagos from normal Pokémon, legendary demonstrating superiority immediately. Stellar form emerges through terrestrialization, ultimate power achieved through regional mechanic. The transformation elevates Terapagos' base stat total beyond nearly all other Pokémon, power rivaling creation trio. Rainbow coloring represents mastery over all types, comprehensive strength without weakness. Terra Shell reduces super effective damage when Terapagos has full HP, ability protecting against initial assault. This defensive capability prevents instant elimination, legendary guaranteed to take at least 1 action. The protection encourages aggressive opening, confidence enabled by safety net. Terra Starstorm damages enemies with rainbow stars, signature move that can hit multiple opponents. The attack benefits from stellar terrestrial form, power amplified when Terapagos achieves ultimate state. This scaling emphasizes progression, strongest form unleashing strongest attack. Terapagos draws inspiration from multiple turtle myths, Rainbow Shell Turtle and 10,000-Year Turtle, providing foundation. World Turtle concept appears in stellar form, planet description suggesting cosmic significance. These layered references create rich thematic foundation, design operating on multiple levels simultaneously. Picherunt produces poisonous mochi, treats that bind consumers to its will. Poison and ghost typing reflects toxic manipulation, contaminated food controlling minds. The peach shell protects while producing poison, fruit becoming weapon through supernatural properties. Purple coloring with peach motif creates distinctive appearance, design clearly marking Picherunt as related to Loyal 3. The innocent appearance conceals manipulative nature, cute exterior hiding, dangerous capabilities. This deception allows approach, targets accepting gifts without suspicion. Malignant Chain may poison opponents after dealing damage, signature move that combines offense with status infliction. The toxic effect represents Picherunt's controlling influence, contamination that binds victim. This utility makes Malignant Chain tactically valuable, damage plus potential status worth move slot. Poison Puppeteer ability allows team members to poison normally immune types, support capability that enables teammates. This unprecedented utility breaks fundamental game rules, allowing poison where normally impossible. The ability represents Picherunt's manipulative power, control extending beyond personal actions. The 99 legendary Pokémon span generations and regions, mythological beings that define eras. Their stories interweave with human history, power-shaping civilizations. These creatures exist beyond normal categorization, strength, and significance, elevating them above ordinary Pokémon. Their legends persist through ages, tales passed down across generations. The impact reaches beyond simple power, influence extending into culture and belief. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed drifting through these quiet moments, there's another video waiting on your screen. Let it play while you rest. You might discover something gentle before sleep takes you.